Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to MotoOption Supercross. From Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, riding for Team Yogi, number 3, Logan Leitzel. From France, riding for TSCZ Productions, number 22, Nathan Prin. From Lillington, North Carolina, riding for TSCZ Productions, number 11, Luke Sullivan. From Watkins Glen, New York, riding for Phil Ski and Snowboard, number 12, Braden Castellaneta. From Mattawan, Michigan, riding for Phil Ski and Snowboard, number 78, Jacob Hubbard. From Shawnigan Lake, Canada, riding for District Designs, number 24, Colby Eaglin. From Scottsdale, Arizona, riding for District Designs, 2022 MX Simulator National Champion, number 51, Payson Johnson.
That's the stupid truth. I slap a booty red, attach it to a bandana like use and loose. Cruise ahead, patty banger through the roof and do a doggy till I get charged with animal abuse. Alive and living, I've been a hard-headed victim ever since I saw death in the car. Recollection from bars, reckless drinking from hard. Sex with women and getting tatted like a walking, talking art exhibition. Listen, I just want the amazing life that Jay-Z has with planes, Mercedes, Jags, ladies banging me to lazy jazz. But rap is tough, I have to hustle like a crazy ass. The most underrated is what you can rate me as. I'll take these jabs, you'll make me bleed, but you won't make me spaz. I wait and choke you like on a face and lady gas. My dad passed before we got the 41. That's when I knew no one's important or immortal, son. We're all just drums, me, I'm only in it for the fun. I came to spray the audience with champagne and water guns. And when I go, I pray to God my friends pour me some gin on my grave like my name was Jim Morrison.
From France, riding for Phil Ski and Snowboard, 2018 Supercross Champion, number 7, Alexis Leclerc.
Rewind it.
Check the tape.
Win the Anaheim opener in 2000. Braden Carter's going to win tonight in Anaheim to win the Seattle Supercross.
2022 Supercross champion.
From Costa Mesa, California, riding for Phil's Ski and Snowboard, your two-time and defending Supercross champion, number 1, Braden Carter.
No way. No way.
I must run away.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in. It's round 5 of the 2023 AMA Esports Supercross Championship, brought to you by MotoOption in MX Simulator. My name is Kellen Brower. I'm joined again tonight by Andrew Wood, and we are set to bring you guys the action from the 5th round here tonight in Houston. It's also the first round of the 250 Supercross East Championship here in MX Simulator. So we're, of course, going to preview that here for you guys in just a moment. We're also going to talk about the 450 standings as well as we head into this 5th round of the championship, coming off of a Triple Crown last week in Anaheim. So certainly a lot of storylines here. But first of all, let's talk about that Triple Crown last week. Andrew, a lot of chaos. Eventually we see a new winner this year in Colby Eagland, our 3rd different winner of the season. And now it's pretty close to top the championship standings as we move into the East Coast Dirt. What are you looking at out of these, Carter, Leclerc, Johnson, and these guys being close in points as we get onto these East Coast tracks?
Yeah, I really think that it's going to be really close between these guys now. You're going to have to see that top 3 kind of try to separate themselves and really get some consistency between them. One of these guys needs to take control of the championship here. They've been kind of back and forth so far, a couple different winners through 4 races. So going to be interesting to see who can separate themselves as a title contender.
Absolutely. And of course, as mentioned, we're leading into the 250 East Championship. So without further ado, first of all, let's go ahead and jump into our qualifying times and talk about what's going on in the 450 class leading into tonight. And no surprise here, Payson Johnson fastest at a 49.414. It's a really unique track here tonight. But look at that. We got Prin, Carter, Hubbard all in the 49s as well. Colby Eagland within a second or just about a second of Johnson. Castellaneta, Tyler Lang's down here. Tough look for Alexis Leclerc right here, though, down in 14th spot. He's definitely going to have to turn it around before this night show.
Yeah, really not used to seeing Alexis Leclerc qualify that far down, but for the top 5 only to be within 1 second, I feel like that's not as tight as we normally see. The top 4 are pretty close, but then when you see Colby Eagland a little bit further down right there. But so Braden Carter and Payson Johnson are probably going to be the ones to keep your eyes on. Maybe Nathan Prin playing some spoiler there, but it's going to be really interesting to see if Leclerc can bounce back from that really bad qualifying time.
All right, well, let's talk about our 250 East coming into this one tonight. Alec Horn has gone fastest, or has he? Seth Crotty ties him on a dead heat of 52.445. So dual P1 results here tonight. Pretty interesting to see. We got Rasmus Balzer, Ethan Gurst, John Heilman, Elliot Ringstrom, Noah Vining is here as well. Emmett Sun, Colin Allen, Carson West, Seth Garrett. Just looking down the order, we got to go all the way back to 15th spot to find our defending East champion, Bryce Whelan, coming into this one. Kind of interesting to see the number 1 plate that far down, but also these 250 guys are hungry and might provide us with some first-time winners tonight already.
Yeah, really interesting to see the defending champ that far back in qualifying, but we got a lot of new faces here in this 250 class, especially this East Coast division. So we're going to see if any of these guys can kind of assert themselves as some title contenders here tonight. It's only going to be the first round, but really interesting to see what these guys can do. These fast qualifiers, some of this new blood, they're really good at throwing down hot laps, but do they have the ability to go 15+1 in that main event and take this thing home? It's going to be really interesting to find out.
Yeah, close times at the top there, 52s all the way down to 12th. And so at 52.4, you have to go all the way back to 22nd to find a second behind. That is close times at the top of this 250 East standings. But let's take a look at our championship standings here. Only 450 we have to focus on because 250 West is on a break. Braden Carter, 4-point lead. Leclerc, Johnson, Eagland, Hubbard, all within one race distance still. One race pays out 26 points max. So 5 guys still within that one race distance. But I think, especially with Eagland kind of getting that win last week, we're starting to see maybe a little bit of separation. Eagland trying to hang on, but I think we're already starting to see a little bit of a breakaway in this championship fight.
Yeah, Eagland with that win last week got himself to claw back a little bit, but everyone, the Leclerc, Johnson, and Eagland all gained a couple points on Braden Carter last week. So Braden needs to kind of bounce back from this and try to get a good finish here tonight. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be a dogfight between Carter, Leclerc, and Johnson from here on out. But Jacob Hubbard and Eagland not too far behind, so we'll see if they can have a couple bounce back weeks. We're still only in like the first quarter of this championship, so still early here. Can't make any title predictions, but Braden Carter's got to really hold on to this lead.
All right, well, let's jump into the game. I apologize in advance that I wasn't already in the game. I went to jump in the server right before we started this broadcast, and my game crashed. So sometimes it just is the luck of the draw with those things. But we'll get in the server now. We're going to have 250 East heat number 1 coming up first. So our first look at those 250 East runners and see how they stack up in this very unique track. We're going to kind of a first look here at the track overhead, Andrew, and you can see what a wild track this one is. Very similar to, I guess, Anaheim last week, where you have the start go through multiple lanes and then it comes back together. You have a Supercross triple after a super long straightaway. It sounds like some guys are even jumping 5 off of that all the way into the turn. So we're going to see some pretty unique racing options, racing lines. Just looking at this track, though, I guess we're going to get in the server a little bit faster than I expected. Maybe we could actually do a quick lap or two. Let me just go ahead and turn some of these things on. We got that, and we got that. And where does it go?
Up, right there.
Right there. All right. Gotta turn that down a little bit and reload. Okay. So maybe we get to actually take a brief look at the track here, make sure I'm in the right server. Yeah, we're good to go. But we got this start straight coming down into the first turn. Kind of a short start straight because it's only the length of a end zone or a sideline to sideline football stadium. Out of the first turn, right into a tunnel jump. And then, Awood, if you want to take us through what you're seeing on this track so far.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting, that tunnel jump there off the start. Decent rhythm right here. Going to be interesting to see the different lines that guys take through there. Then pretty basic into the finish line. Got a sand section into that triple-double. Probably a triple-triple across back over the start. And then one more decently long rhythm section, but 450 guys probably going to get through that in about 3 jumps. Really long whoop section here, though, into a right-hand 90 and that tunnel jump. So going to be interesting to see how guys kind of go through there when you're breaking through the whoop section. And then that steep tunnel jump, but pretty basic track. These football stadium tracks a little bit tighter than the baseball stadiums, a little more the rectangular kind of basic layouts, a lot of 180 turns, but a lot of opportunities for passing. So not too crazy with the rhythms here today, only really 2 rhythm sections that I feel like are going to separate each other. So you're going to have to watch out for maybe that whoop section and sand section to provide a little bit of separation between these guys.
Yeah, hopefully we see that sand section maybe break down a little bit too, so that it, maybe presents some options. Maybe we have an inside, maybe we have an outside. It would be nice to see more than just kind of one line, which sometimes that's what MX Simulator does, right? Is you get those wall ruts and everyone likes to hit the same thing and go faster and faster and faster until that breaks away, and then you all change up your lines and go somewhere else. So hopefully we see that dynamic. Hopefully it does provide some good racing. I think maybe I'm most excited for back-to-back-to-back bull berms because especially with those long straightaways, like you mentioned, sets up some opportunities at least to get a drive alongside someone and put a good block pass on them.
Yeah, definitely. Those 180 bull berms are the best for passing in Supercross. They really allow people to come up the inside and leave some room as well for a pass. But the 90-degree corners don't work out too bad. Luckily, those two we have, they're pretty much back-to-back flat corners, and we probably will see an inside and an outside after the tunnel jump. So, but doesn't look too crazy in the rhythm sections. I'm looking at the one before the finish line. Looks like just a double, triple through there, unless they go outside triple, on-off triple. Other than that, the yellow bale rhythm in the middle of the track doesn't look too difficult as well either. So, going to be pretty tricky. Maybe that's why you saw a lot of those 450 times really tight. Or actually 450 was pretty separated. Maybe someone was doing one of those big lines, but that 250 class was so tight all the way through 22nd place with one section of separation. So going to be interesting to see, but we're going to have our first look right now at the 250 East Coast for this 250 heat number 1 coming up.
Yeah, this is a look at your 250 East Coast class tonight. Austin Bear, Bronson McClure, Noah McLaughlin, Rasmus Balzer, Alec Horn, Trent Adams, Evan Holt is here, as well as John Heilman, Riley Hewen, Dylan Love, Christopher McPherson Jr., Carson West, Jacob Kelly, Matt Cromie, Trevin Thompson, Noah Viney, Alex Heckman, Cody Cooper, Brandon Nygren, Hunter Plum are going to be in this heat race. If you're just joining us for the first time ever watching MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross, this is ran just like the real-life races are. We're going to have 2 heat races for each class, a 250 Heat 1 and 2, and a 450 Heat 1 and 2. The top 9 riders will transfer through out of those into the main event, and all other runners head to a last chance qualifier. 4 go through the LCQ to make up our 22-rider main events, 15 minutes plus a lap for the 250 guys, and 20 minutes plus a lap for the 450 guys. We are ready to drop the gate here. 250 East action. As the card goes sideways, the revs come up, and let's kick off 250 East in style in Texas.
Oh, we saw someone get stuck on the gate there, but some good jumps from the inside with this pretty short section, and it's going to be a flat section back into this tunnel jump. Alec Horn almost goes off and hits that, but he's going to be the first one over the tunnel jump and get the whole shot. So Alec Horn with a nice start here in this first 250 East heat race.
Yeah, getting the jump up the inside and holding that inside line well is going to get the whole shot. As he mentioned, went off the track through those tough blocks a little bit, but up and over the finish line jump, down through that MotoOption tunnel and into the sand section first time through. We're getting a look at what these guys are able to do around this track. Also heard a report that it sounds like these guys might not be allowed to do the big 5 off of the Supercross triple in the race, as it might be a little bit too egregious to try to make passes and other things like that. So I think they might be outlawing it, but we'll see what ends up happening. It might be safer anyway to not do it. As Horn continues to lead, he's got Rasmus Balzer on the impact ride right behind him as well. And you're seeing different options here: over table, triple, or on off, double or triple double into the corner. And Balzer down the inside is going to make the pass around Alec Horn into the race lead. And we're already starting to see these whoops this week, already pretty treacherous as well.
Yeah, those whoops are really long there. It feels like they just keep going and going. Rasmus Balzer showed us a great separation in that rhythm section, showing 2 different lines there and showing us which one might be faster. So it's going to be interesting to see which line the guys take going on throughout the night here. Rasmus Balzer and Alec Horn actually with a pretty big lead right now ahead of 3rd place. So interesting to see these guys both off to a really hot start here as they come over the triple double section here. And then a pretty basic triple here. It looks pretty big for the 250 guys though to go triple in there. But a lot of back and forth straightaways across this track. Doesn't feel like there's going to be too much separation. So there might be a really big importance on that start here in the races tonight.
Yeah, not too much separation if qualifying was any indication, with 22 riders all within 1 second of each other in this 250 East division. I like what Balzer's doing through that rhythm section, coming back across the start though, where he's going over table, triple. Looks to be a little bit faster, but that's not going to help as he goes off the track. It's going to come back on safely, but will it cost him the lead? It does. Horn to the front. Balzer squares it back off. They're going to go bar to bar over the finish line jump. Dualies. And Horn even gives a little bike hump because he's stoked to be laying it down alongside. Balzer around the outside, still close together. We're going to have separate dualies again. Dualies. Horn down the inside is going to block him and come back through the turn. Neither of them can triple in, and Horn goes short. So Balzer jumps across, jumps out as well, and is going to retain that lead. By the way, talked to Logan Carnow this past weekend at Supercross, and he said his favorite part of watching this broadcast is when you and I yell dualies. So trying to get it in there a little bit more for Carnow. Great to talk to him this past weekend. Hopefully we see him again in Houston. But let's break it down through the field a little bit here. Trevin Thompson running in 3rd place. Evan Holt in a good spot here in 4th early on. Matt Cromie rounds out the top 5. Brandon Nygren entering the whoops behind him in P6. John Heilman 7th, Carson West in 8th, and Dylan Love is in 9th as Noah McLaughlin just went down at the end of the rhythm section. So too a couple of other riders. So Bronson McClure is going to go into 10th. Remember, only 9 riders go through, so these guys hopping their way through the whoops in the background right here are out of a transfer spot at the moment, trying to fight their way in, and contact right there with Riley Hewen, going to push him back a little bit further. So Dylan Love has a lot of breathing room behind him, so long as he stays on a couple wheels and keeps this thing all the way to the flag. He is looking pretty sharp to stay in that position, but just as I say that, we got to write it down. That's our leader. I think that is our leader, Balzer, as he's just getting back on the track in about 4th spot behind Evan Holt. So yes, Balzer down through the rhythm lane allows Alec Horn back into the lead, but man, we got to talk about Trevin Thompson. He's just been kind of creeping up on Horn. We'll go on board with the faded rider on P2 on a 53.8 right now behind Alec Horn's 54.4, but Thompson closing this thing down.
Yeah, Thompson's had some great lap times here. Let's see what he puts in as he comes across this time, a 54.4, but still definitely gaining a little bit of time. He would be solidly in 3rd place if Balzer didn't make a big mistake. Looks like he had a mistake on that triple coming out, but you can already see that rut developing as we come around in this first-person camera throughout the sand. Interesting to see these 250 riders. You see how much work they put in having to rail that corner, big seat bounce just to get that triple there. And there's that little knuckle and then another roller there. I actually really like the 2-3-2 across that Balzer did, the lap that he actually made the pass with Alec Horn. But man, Trevin Thompson's showing us just how burly these rhythm sections are, actually being a little bit tricky for these 250 guys. And those looks like some giant whoops, but those actually help you slow down a little bit at the end of that whoop section there. Going inside, double, triple here. Probably going to be the line for the most part, but that's where we saw our leader make a mistake there a little while ago, jumping off track as well. But Trevin Thompson with another 53.7 is going to pull right back up close to the leader here.
They say everything's bigger in Texas, and I think the Race Factor Gaming track crew took that literally when they built the whoops this week, because those things are burly, and these 250 machines are struggling to stay on top of them, as you saw Thompson bouncing through. But you're getting a good perspective here of what it's like to try to close up as he misses the rhythm section, goes for the double out, just gets it. Almost went through the front door. But you can see Horn still right in front of him. We're down into the final 30 seconds, I should say, plus a lap of this thing. So I think we're going to get another time through before the white flag waves. So coming up on 2 laps to go. But look at these whoops, man. These guys trying to stay on top of him. Ryder's down. Just goes right over top of him. And wow, Thompson fortunate not to get caught up. Still trying to work on Horn for the lead, but Horn doing a tremendous job of holding it out front.
Man, that shows you just how big the whoops are when you can go right over a rider that's down like that and not even have to worry about hitting him. But Horn actually pulling a little bit away after having a bad last lap. You see 2 nice ruts developing here in the sand section as well. The outside one's getting a little bit deeper, so I think that inside one's starting to be used a little bit more. Going to be something to keep an eye on as we get closer into the main events, the longer races. But you see that alternate line there by Horn, maybe not comfortable with that rut now, getting that triple in consistently. And right here you see this little pre-hop. There's not much to triple over that first tabletop there, so I feel like a lot of people are going to be electing the safer line of going on-off there.
Horn is going to go down. Watch out, here he comes over top of him. He's going to get sideways. Trevin Thompson, what a save, has gone right over top 2 different riders in successive laps. And this time it's going to be for the race lead as the white flag comes out this time by. Man, just as we were talking about those whoops reaching up and biting people, it gets Alec Horn and takes him out of the race lead. White flag waving. Thompson is leading. Balzer's trying to make a last-ditch effort here. He's a little far back, though. He's going to need some help. And Horn did pick it up still in 3rd. Good ride by Holt in 4th, and Nygren rounding out the top 5 as Chromie has slipped back behind Nygren on the 76 Boots House Dr. Do Racing Machine. Rider going down, a lap down right there. Not a whole lot of battling just yet in this 250 East Division, but I'm sure when we see more of these guys combine together towards the main events, we'll see a little bit better battling as well. As you see Holt here trying to latch on to Alec Horn. Back to our race leader, though, Trevin Thompson. Make sure he gets through those whoops clean. Hopping a little bit. Kind of hitting every other whoop, and it seems to be working for him. But can't rely on that all the time, or else you're going to go down a lot more often. Here he is down the final straightaway, though. Triple to the corner. These 250s really have to stretch out that last triple. And 250 East Heat 1 goes to Trevin Thompson, even though he Magic Man'd his way over the finish line jump.
Yeah, Rasmus Balzer with a great comeback there after going down early. Alec Horn holding on as well to a top 3. Brandon Nygren there as well. Holty Carson West, and I think John Hallman. Looks like Chromie might have gone down. There he
Yep.
is. Chromie's going to finish up in 8th place. He's a veteran of the class here. Dylan Love way back here in 9th, but he looks like he's going to be cruising into the final transfer spot here tonight. He said, I'm not even going for that triple out. I'm a little scared of that. Let's just make sure we get in there. I got that last spot, and I'm safely in.
Yeah, big advantage back to Noah Viney, who is up there in qualifying. Viney is going to the LCQ, as is Bronson McClure, Jacob Kelly, Trent Adams, Noah McLaughlin, Alex Heckman also going, Austin Bear, Christopher McPherson Jr., Hunter Plum, Cody Cooper, and Riley Hewen. Riley Hewen did not finish this one, so tough look there. Taking a look at penalties, and it looks like all good. Nobody in the top 9 received a position penalty. So Trevin Thompson takes the win, and I want to get a little closer to his shot so we can say what his real team is. It's Team Fried. Makes sense why
It's just pretty much the same thing.
Just goes right well with what we're looking at here. But well done by Thompson, and we'll look forward to see if he can carry that momentum into tonight's main event. 7:44. The total race time out of 250 East Heat number 1. So this is round 5 of the 2023 MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Championship in MX Simulator. MX Simulator, a game released in 2008. If you guys want to try it for yourself, mxsimulator.com. That is MX Simulator, all one word, and then .com. You guys can head over there, try out the demo, which is nothing like the real game. Very 2008-ish for sure is still the demo of the game, but you can try it out and see how difficult the game is before you decide to install it and throw your computer across the room. But once you do get the game and you start learning the ropes a little bit, and you're interested in maybe competing in MotoOption Supercross, you can head over to racefactorygaming.com. That is where they also host the amateur racing and the novice Supercross racing, so you can try your hands at that first and see how it goes. Once you get up through the ranks, though, and you want to compete for the AMA Esports Supercross Championship, you're going to want to go to initesports.gg. They have a verification system this year for everyone that wants to get scored in the championship, and a full explanation is available on the Init Esports website. If you have any further questions about either Init Esports or Race Factory Gaming, please be sure to visit the Init Esports Discord or Race Factory Gaming Discord for any questions that you have. And that is the 2023 MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Championship explained. All right, Andrew, coming up next, we got 250 East Heat number 2. We already saw kind of what these 250 guys are presenting for us in terms of a pace, structure, and variance based on what we saw versus the West Coast. What are you liking so far out of these East guys that might set us up for some good main events tonight?
I really like that start was a lot cleaner than I thought it was going to be. I feel like this 250 East class is a lot younger than the 250 West classes. You can kind of see that going through seeing the UIDs during the qualifying times, but a lot of these guys, a lot of new faces here, maybe not as much race experience, but they all clearly had similar speed on this track. So really going to be interesting to see what kind of racers can separate themselves with their racecraft here. Managing their expectations in the rhythm sections. That yellow rhythm section kind of going through the middle of the track kind of seemed a little bit tricky with that triple over. Besides Balzer, I didn't really see it being done very often. You can kind of see they got to hop over a roller and then jump over right there, but a lot of different young guys, not too many well-known names in here. So it's really going to be interesting to see if any of these guys, Pilsner and Whelan, both been around for a long time. But interesting to see if any of these guys can kind of cement themselves as a contender early on. A lot of new faces.
We're also seeing the number 1 plate of Bryce Whelan, last year's 250 East champion. We haven't seen much of Whelan racing a 450 on the opposite coast, which is something that Bryce has done in the past. We saw him race some outdoors of pro motocross in MX Simulator last year, but haven't seen him too much in terms of Supercross since he won that title last year. And that qualifying effort, putting him down in P15, you would maybe suggest is a little rough around the edges, dusting the cobwebs off of the number 1 machine, perhaps. But again, everybody within 1 second of each other, all the way down to 22nd. I mean, it is anybody could win tonight in that group, it seems like. And Bryce Whelan could easily turn it around and go 15th in qualifying and then win the main event.
Yeah, honestly, kind of needed to remind myself that many people were within 1 second. I feel like I would not be surprised if Whelan just comes out and kind of dominates this heat race. I know that's a lot to call for when you've been off racing for so long, but holding that number 1 plate, he's on a great team, and he's got a lot of experience in this class. So I wouldn't be surprised, maybe his qualifying time, he couldn't get one tricky rhythm section down that would have gave him, half a second to get him up there inside that top 5 in qualifying. But Bryce Whelan definitely, I would say one of the most, in this heat race, top 2 as far as experience-wise. So I would not be surprised to see Whelan get a great start here and kind of separate himself from this pack pretty early.
We'll see if he can make that happen or not, and it's all going to start right here for him in 250 East. Heat number 2, you can see him lining up kind of in the middle of the inside gate. We're going to take a look at Sonny Spicer off the start here. Here we go, 250 East, Heat 2 in Houston.
And the gate is down. We got Whelan with a pretty decent jump on the inside trying to get that wheelie. He is going to get that hole shot if he can hug in tight enough. And no, it's going to be the number 42. And they're pretty much dead even. I actually think Whelan got it, but Ethan Gurst going to be right there behind him, following in. And let's see what these two can do if they can separate themselves from the rest of the pack.
Whelan cases. What a save. He's going to get pushed high as Gurst goes to the race lead. Seth Garrett takes over second place. You got Whelan battling back there in third. He's going to get past again as Emmett Sund goes through. So already some jockeying for positions early in this one, but a great move up the inside. Gurst avoiding Whelan casing that triple into the berm. And now Gurst going to take or lose the lead from Seth Garrett going to the front. Guys behind him tripling in. Somehow Whelan tripled over top past 2 guys. Got back into second place. So now it's Garrett from Whelan and Gurst up there with Sonny Spicer also in the mix and Dre Smith inside of the top 5. But this lead battle already looking a little bit feistier. A T-bone in the background. Gurst got together back there with Sonny Spicer. Meanwhile, our leaders are side by side going back and forth through the whoops. Oh my goodness, already kicking it off in this second heat race for the 250 East guys. This is looking a little bit spicier than what we saw out of the first one.
Yeah, the first race was pretty bland compared to this so far. These guys got right to it here, making lots of passes. Top 2 finally starting to separate themselves, but Seth Garrett able to get that lead away from Bryce Whelan here early on, but Whelan is not going to be done fighting. Seth Garrett trying to scrub that and stay low and get away from this guy as he's getting chased down right now. They're still going for that triple in here. They seem to be getting it a little bit easier than the guys in the first heat were, but we'll see how that changes with that rut developing. But these two definitely separating themselves here. Let's see, both going for that kind of simple rhythm section there. But man, these two are really far apart from Gurst in third and Dre Smith back there in fourth. But as we see through the top 10, a lot of new names. Not much happening here though. Can Whelan go up the inside?
Whelan's going to try. Casing the tunnel jump is Seth Garrett, and Bryce Whelan goes back to the lead. It was looking like Whelan was going to try to set up a pass anyway, but when Garrett cased that jump, he just came to a dead stop. I think he knew if he had rolled off the top of it, he might get landed on, so he waited for Whelan to jump over top of him and continue on. But now the battle continues because right now Garrett is sticking tight behind the number 1 machine as they push each other away from everybody else behind them. As you mentioned, Gurst still back here in third, Talon Zollers back in fourth, Joseph Pilsner rounding out the top 5, Emmett Sund behind him in 6th, Lucas Schwartner 7th with Seth Crotty, one of our 2 dualies. Oh, Crotty off the side of the track, and remember Crotty was one of our 2 fastest qualifiers here tonight, he and Alec Horn. Dead heat on times at the top as Seth Carr rounds out the final transfer spot for the time being. Sonny Spicer, slipped back here actually, so Sonny Spicer back to 10th. Yes, he is, because Carr has moved up to 9th. And you got Alex Zellner back here, Austin Partolo a little ways further back. So everyone trying to figure it out early on. And we got, two guys down. That's Schwartner and Joseph Pilsner down. So round the outside of them goes Zellner and Spicer to make it up into the final transfer spots. And those guys get going behind them. They have to regroup and try to catch back up to, Spicer and Zellner and try to make something happen. And still pretty close action going on outside of the top 9 at the moment, but these guys in transfer spot trying to settle in, not let anything get to them. As back to our race leaders, Seth Garrett and Ethan Gurst still going at it, or not Gurst, Bryce Whelan, trying to learn all these East Coast names, just catching me off guard how many different names you got to learn in a single night, but we're getting there. As Whelan gets back on top of the whoops again, and whoa, up the
exit
inside,
stage right
into the tunnel goes Seth Garrett. Spicy track re-entry almost got him the band hammer right there if Ethan Gurst had clobbered into him. But Gurst is going to go up into second place now as Garrett settles back into third. Zollers, Sund, Carr, Spicer, Pilsner, Crotty now in the final transfer spot, but he's got Schwartner right behind him. Battles everywhere on the track.
Yeah, Crotty's got definitely got some competition here right behind him. He's just got to kind of look forward and look at trying to get past some of these 3 guys in front of him. Spicer right in front of him as well. He's the one who ran into someone earlier, ran into Gerst actually, and dropped back and had some problems. So good to see him regroup a bit. But Crotty's got some heat on him, and he's got to try to hold on. Let's see what happens here. Is that Spicer off the track? So Spicer's actually going to move back to 11th. That's going to let Schwartner into 9th.
Is it a lapper? Oh, no, it was a lapper. And Schwartner just goes down the inside to make the pass. I thought that was Sonny Spicer. It looked exactly like him.
They're all gears all the same.
Yeah, I guess it's just one of his teammates as Seth Crotty funnels back to 10th. But all these guys still so close together, and these whoops have been treacherous for these 250 riders. Another mistake almost ahead of them. That was Pilsner again, who we saw crash moments earlier in the whoops, as these guys just cannot quite figure it out going across the top of those things. Look at this, though. Crotty is trying to fight back. You don't want to qualify fastest and then go to the LCQ, so he's going to do everything he can to get back around Lucas Schwartner if he can make it happen. Yeah, definitely not how you want to start your season. You come in thinking I qualified first. I'm going to be one that's going to be, fighting for the win here tonight. So after a rough heat race, though, maybe a little bit of a kick in the butt here. He's actually going to get a pass on Schwartner, so that's going to get him 1 spot more. And Schwartner is trying to fight back, though, tripling out. And look at these guys. They're pushing so hard here, just launching that single to flat. But, man, these guys are still so close back here. There's no room to breathe for any one of them. Any little mistake can make it happen, as we see a little bit of a bobble there. Crotty's trying to make the pass up the inside of Joseph Pilsner. It's going to go to the outside of the whoops right here. Schwartner's also got a great drive. He's going to go down the inside of Crotty. 3 wide. You got 4 guys in the air over the tunnel at the same time. And Schwartner down the inside. Let's see if he goes on-off and keeps this spot. He does, but they're splitting around the outside of Pilsner, and they both pass him as Pilsner drops back to 10th and Crotty stays in 9th, even though he lost a position. Wow, Pilsner tossing it back there, not acting like he just got twofered for the final transfer spot, but he did. Schwartner, though, trying to push even further forward to try to get away from this mess. You do not want to be battling right back there on the bubble. So we're going to have to see what happens. Crotty's trying to get away as well. But we see that Pilsner goes for the triple in. He doesn't make it. Can he still double across? He's going to be able to. That's going to let Crotty back by. Yeah, he got around Schwartner, and Pilsner is still sitting right behind them. Our leader is wheeling, getting away.
Oh,
side by side. And they're both down. They both crash. Somehow Pilsner avoids them as he rolls across the jump. We got another gentleman flying, and that was Colin Allen going down. And then Pilsner's down in the whoops. Pilsner's down in between the whoops right here. So Schwartner and Crotty both go back by into the final transfer spot as Pilsner falls back once again. So it's Spicer ahead of these guys in 7th. Crotty's in the final transfer spot. The white flag is out. We got more battles going on. There's Gerst lapping someone right here. Seth Cartwright behind him. Talon Zollers, Seth Garrett, Emmett Sund, and then Bryce Whelan is still our race leader as we come down on the final lap of this thing. But boy, oh boy, absolutely kicking off for that last transfer spot. I think this is more what we expected out of this 250 East division, and it is delivering. Bryce Whelan, though, up front, going to take us home to the win here in 250 East Heat number 2, the number 1 on top, as he takes us into the main event a little bit later on tonight. Good start for the Phil Ski and Snowboard rider. Seth Garrett will pick up 2nd in this one from Talon Zollers in 3rd. Seth Carr coming across in 4th. Sun rounds out the top 5. Looks like Gerst slips back to 6th. Sonny Spicer is in 7th. Then here's Schwartner in 8th and Crotty in 9th. Looks like they finally got away from this train of riders behind them. Blowers, getting together with Pilsner as Pilsner lands on him and piggybacks all the way down. Victor Norlander is going to come through in 10th, but Crotty unbelievably finishes 9th in this one. Wild heat number 2. Yeah, those last final transfer spots with those huge gaps did not look how they did for the rest of the race. They finally got some breathing room on the last half of the last lap there. But Crotty got to be happy to make it in. He's going to be kicking himself for the 9th place, but a lot better than heading to the LCQ, because we know, especially after what we just saw, that this 250 East LCQ is going to be some carnage here tonight. They always are, but especially with these guys trying to make their first main event of the year. Really excited to see what happens here. Not sure if we saw any movement inside the top 10. No, we did top not. Top 9 stayed the same, yeah. Bryce Whelan, though, not surprised at all. Didn't really have to push himself. You see his last lap, he kind of slowed it down a little bit there, but had a great best lap there. Just exactly what I expected from him. Once he got some clear air, separates himself by 7.5 seconds, and he's going to head to the main event with the fastest lap
second fastest lap of this race. Fastest lap goes to 10th place, who was just short, but Bryce Whelan trying to hold on to that red and number 1 plate and show himself that he's, again, the best guy here in the 250 East Coast class.
Good start indeed for the number 1 of Bryce Whelan Phil's ski and snowboard ride. Up next, though, it is time for the big dogs here on the East Coast. 450 class coming up, and unlike the 250 East guys, this is round 5 of the series for them. East guys getting their first round underway here tonight in Houston. But we are finally on to the East Coast rounds for the 450 guys. Already seen how this track is breaking down tonight for the 250 riders. It's going to be interesting to see what the 450 guys do, because I think the lines may be similar, but the whoops might be a whole lot better for the 450 guys to stay on top, get across the top, and not go down in between of them like we saw so many of these 250 guys do. So 450 heat number 1 coming up next in Houston.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we're going to get any quads here in either of the 2 main rhythm sections on this track. A couple quad gods here. Maybe you see a lot of these 450 guys have a little bit more experience, a little bit more bike control, and they're able to get that pop without carrying as much momentum. So maybe in that yellow bale section in the middle, we might be seeing that triple over the table, triple out a little bit more. It looked really tricky. Now that I saw it, especially in the first person camera, I'm surprised that Rasmus Balzer was actually hitting that, especially in the lead. I probably would not be hitting that, but other than that, pretty basic. But I'm going to guess we're going to see a lot more consistency out of these 450 riders, like we kind of always do, but a little bit more tight, action-packed racing. You see a little bit less diversity in this class. Everyone else just a little bit more experience. They've earned their pro license, and most of them are multi-year veterans of the class. Going to be interesting to see who we have lined up in this first 450 heat race tonight. As we get ready to go racing round 5 here, can Braden Carter hold on to the lead tonight? Or is Leclerc or Payson Johnson going to keep cutting that lead down, as well as Colby Eaglin? Can he capitalize on his Triple Crown win last week? Going to be interesting to see kind of who's going to put themselves on top here tonight and start setting the tone with their first 450 heat race of the night.
450 heat number 1 coming up here in just a few moments in Houston for round 5 of the 2023 MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Championship. Live on Start Your Systems, Init Esports on Twitch and ESTV. If you're watching on any of those platforms with us tonight, we appreciate you watching round 5 of the MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Championship. Also, a big shout out to everybody that's tuned in through the Start Your Systems YouTube channel, because we see a lot of you guys here tonight in chat having a good time, chatting it up and hanging out, chatting some moto, getting ready for the weekend. Houston coming up. Already a lot of Hayden Deegan talk going on in there.
A lot of Hayden Deegan talk. I've been peeping in there, but hey, I've been seeing some paragraphs getting typed in there, and it wasn't long for me to see the name Hayden and just know, okay, yeah, I'm going to stay out of that one right there.
Yeah, I just happened to open Instagram real quick and saw a video that I actually put together for Racer X about Hayden Deegan's bike, and yeah, a lot of comments going on in there as well. So
oh yeah,
it is just coming through aplenty. But here are the 450 chaps getting ready to go tonight here in Houston. Looking through the field, we got last week's winner Colby Eaglin also in the mix. Good to see the 24 machine get his first win of the season out of the way. Looks like he has turned things around after a rough, maybe first couple rounds of the year didn't quite go his way. Got a couple other guys mixed in through here. Braden Carter also in this heat race, so gonna be fun to watch. Gonna be interesting to see who gets the jump here in this short start straight as we get ready to go racing. Blake O'Brien's gonna be right in the middle, so we'll take a look at him. You got Johnson and Carter down the inside with Eaglin right there as well. Tharp, Sullivan, and the rest of them. Here we go. It is 450 heat racing time in Houston.
And the gate is down. Big jump by Braden on the inside. He's going to be holding that tight, but no.
He's down.
Adam Holm pushing long. Braden goes down, actually. So that allows Aaron Rockefeller first one over the tunnel.
Oh, and we got a guy hung up on the tunnel, almost going down. You got Adam Holm up there. Holm goes for the quad, goes down. Adam Holm on the 17, big off. Going for the quad to try to pass into the race lead on Rockefeller. So it's Rockefeller from Blakely. J.R. Ray is up here. Blake O'Brien, Heagney, Thomas Sunis, Sullivan, Bodie Parker, Anthony Pachone, Jeremy Smith. Unbelievable mix of guys at the front of this thing. You got Eaglin right back here as well. Didn't see Payson Johnson must have gone down in the first turn because he's not in the top 9 as we go back to our race leader. 450 chaos already after a first turn crash there by Bryce Whelan. He must have gone down, with Braden Carter, I should say. He must have gone down going into that first turn with Payson Johnson because Johnson is down in 16th.
Yeah, these 450 guys, man, they just start off with so much intensity. You see some people stacking it in the corner back there, but Aaron Rockefeller safely in the lead with the number 21 of Chase B right behind him. Chase B, did he go down right there? I think he cased the double in. Yeah,
he did. Yeah.
Just maybe got some wheel spin going for that inside line. These 450s, so much torque, but that's going to allow Braden Carter to go up, I think, into 4th place right behind Jeremy Smith. So Braden Carter able to get back up from that little tip over in the first corner, maybe just washed his front a little bit, got in the hay bale, something like that. But Braden Carter, man, he is no slouch when it comes to picking the speed back up here. And he's going to try to make some quick work of Jeremy Smith, but Jeremy Smith has picked up the pace as of late here. We see those 450s getting that triple a little bit easier, actually downsizing that little thing. And Jeremy Smith slides out the front, but he's going to pull it back together. Braden Carter just avoids him, and here we go. I think we're going to see something different. Braden Carter almost through the bars.
Wow, I was just about to give Carter some props for getting on the brakes that hard and missing getting into Jeremy Smith, because when someone goes down right in front of you and you have all that momentum coming into the corner, it can be really hard to still get stopped. But Carter did a great job. We're also seeing, these 450 guys tripling onto the table as Carter goes down, and he's going to fall out of a transfer spot right here. Several riders going by. I think that was Johnson that just scrubbed across the screen on the 51. So Carter going to pick it up now in 11th spot. Has a little bit of work to do, but he's still right there behind transfer spot. Is pretty much everybody from about 3rd on back is still nose to tail early in this heat race.
Yeah, those 2 rhythm sections starting to give a lot more trouble, actually, these 450 guys, as they are pushing the limit. There is a triple onto that table. There's a quad in there. I think there is also something I saw Payson doing a little wheelie over in this next section, so he might be gearing up for a quad there as well. But Braden Carter, 2 spots behind, going to need to get back in there a little bit. Braden Carter looking just a little bit off there, but you see them slamming into that face off that step on as he gets an easy pass there into 10th. I think these 450 guys are actually going to have a lot more trouble in that rhythm because they are pushing the speeds that much higher, and they're kind of doing some weird bounce stuff here. But look at that triple on right there, triple off, or single off, and triple
Easy
out.
Eli.
Easy, yeah. Eli and Roxon in my mind a little bit here. But man, Braden Carter, you can just see that unreal speed drops to 51.6 right here, and he is on his way back up into this top 9, but not too far behind, just 2 rhythm sections to our race leader here. As Braden Carter working on the number 9 position, trying to get back up. Yeah,
he's right behind Trevor Spencer there. We'll see if Carter can make this pass happen, and actually we won't have to see much longer as he goes right around Trevor Spencer into the final transfer spot. So ahead of him, still Blakely, Eaglin, and Johnson has moved up into 6th now. Bodie Parker 5th, Caleb Hall in 4th, Jeremy Smith in 3rd, Blake O'Brien 2nd, or actually a complete change where Aaron Rockefeller was down after the whoops, it looks like, because he's slipped back into this group. We were just coming up to him to see if he's still leading this thing. He is not. And he's actually jumping off the side of the track, allowing a couple more riders to go by. That's Parker and Hall going through. Johnson definitely on the move behind these guys, though, trying to push that 51 District Designs machine forward. Or actually, he went down as well. Excuse me. He is back behind Carter out of a transfer spot now. So just after Johnson got into a transfer spot, he has slipped back out of that position, and unlike Carter, who was close to everybody, Johnson has some work to do here. 6 seconds down of the next group, and it's Trevor Spencer in that final transfer spot. We only have a minute and a half left on the clock in this thing, so really got to get going at this point in time, Johnson, if he wants to make it into this main event.
Yeah, honestly, this track looks a little bit scary for Braden Carter and Payson Johnson. I feel like with their riding style, I'm kind of curious to see how Eaglin and Leclerc do in the second heat. Their riding style seems to fit a little bit more of this kind of weird bouncing off of stuff kind of deal, but Braden Carter coming up to a huge pack here as Aaron Rockefeller has himself in a 4 deep pack. Body Parker leading it, Caleb Hall, Rockefeller as he almost
Eaglin right
loses
behind
spot
him
to
as well.
Colby
Yeah,
Eaglin.
man, look at this. Ooh, Trileys. Eaglin lands on the back tire there of Caleb Hall. Blakely also gets into him as well. That is going to allow Johnson to get right into the fray. Here comes Payson Johnson from 10th. Going to be right behind his teammate Eaglin, who almost goes through the front door. Johnson 360s off of him and goes down. So that might spell Johnson's end to his chances in this heat race because time is going to expire in just 20 seconds and then the white flag will wave. So he's got to get through like 4 or 5 more guys to still make this main event.
Yeah, Johnson just sent her a little too hard there, bud, and able to. Oh my God, there is a. Oh wait, that was almost a quad. It looked like he had so much speed there. He's been doing that bounce into wheelie bounce thing in these rhythm sections the last couple weeks. It's kind of throwing me off here, but yeah, Payson Johnson, a lot of work to do. Probably going to have to end up going to the LCQ unless he makes some big passes here. He's going to wheel tap that triple and gets put into the Davalos field.
Pachon says,
He's
no,
not
sir.
done.
You cannot pass me around the outside. My name's Anthony Pachon. I ride for Spank. You can't be going out there and think you're going to make a pass.
About
As
to get
Johnson
spanked.
gets pushed back down the order a little ways. You got Luke Sullivan up here, Braden Tharp, Trevor Spencer, Colby Eaglin. So Eaglin's actually right on the bubble. He's actually going to get passed right there. Up the inside, Braden Tharp on the 20 going back and forth for P8. There's Tharp going with the over triple line. Like that when those guys get it. That was Trevor Spencer going down. So Sullivan is going to go up into 10th spot now. But again, another top 10 in points type of guy that is outside of a transfer spot for the time being, has some work to do as the white flag is about to wave, or actually is already waving, for our new race leader, Bodie Parker. Parker leading here in 450 heat number 1. What a wild moment this is for the Yogi Designs number 32. Might steal a heat race win here with all the chaos going on.
Yeah, Bodie with a great race he's put together here. He had a little bit of diversity in the beginning, had to kind of get away from those guys, but with Aaron Rockefeller dropping back a little bit, and then Jeremy Smith as well, Bodie Parker able to separate himself with a little bit of a lead here and ride comfortably into oh my God! And as I go, the commentator's curse.
So this is going to allow Jeremy Smith, by the looks of it, to sneak through and steal a heat race victory away from Bodie Parker. You're just pumping him up, and he just pumped himself into the ground as Jeremy Smith, through the final turn, JS4 takes the Heat 1 victory here in Houston. Carter comes all the way back to 2nd. O'Brien gets 3rd. Parker loses at the end to go to 4th. Hall 5th, Eaglin 6th, Tharp 7th, Rockefeller in 8th, and Blakely rounds out the transfer spots in 9th. Sullivan going to the LCQ, Johnson going to the LCQ, Pachon back here, Trevor Spencer, J.R. Reyes, Clint Martin, Dalton Plessinger, Logan Heagney, Adam Holm, Nick Tomasunis, also all going to the last chance qualifier. But boy, oh boy, that was chaotic at the end. And in the end, the big number 4 of Jeremy Smith goes on through.
Yes, sir. SYS on top here in this heat race. Saw a little bit of movement, I think, but maybe outside of the top 9 here tonight.
Looks like Caleb Hall got around Parker. Parker drops all the way to 7th, actually, on cuts. He finished 4th. Caleb Hall goes to 4th. Eaglin to 5th.
Tight finish,
Tharp
though.
to 6th. Then it's Parker in 7th. Rockefeller ends up 8th, and Blakely does retain 9th. Blakely lost it. It is Sullivan going through to the main event, so he'll breathe a huge sigh of relief. Remember, Sullivan entered tonight 8th in 450 standings, so he did not want to have to go through the LCQ, especially when this gentleman is also there as well, Payson Johnson, having to go to the LCQ. But hey, you know, if he refuses to lose, DC... Oh my...
What?
You're kidding me with that. What even is that, Payson?
Get away.
Wheelie tap down into transition, quad single.
So I've talked to some people, and they told me he doesn't really, care about being consistent and winning. He just wants to drop hot laps and, do big lines and stuff, which he's clearly showing there by just, you're practicing these insane lines. You've only been riding this track for an hour. What?
That was insane. Boy, if you could bust that out in the race and make a pass, I think it might be the greatest pass of all time. That was absolutely
just another level of bike control, dude. It's like you see some of those pros, that can just wheelie around a supercross track, such great balance and bike skill. Man, Payson Johnson has it, but look at the race he just had. He clearly couldn't put it together to put it inside the top 9, so everyone has their troubles, but there was definitely a lot of opportunity there. So it's going to be a crazy LCQ. You got Chase B, you've got Payson Johnson in there already, and we still haven't even got to the other half of the field. So we're going to see Leclerc in this one and a couple other heavy hitters.
Yes, indeed. We will see Alexis Leclerc, the 2018 MotoOption Supercross champion, 4-time MX Simulator National Champion on the number 7 Phil Ski and Snowboard ride here, or he's on the 7 Phil ski and snowboard ride, but he's backed by about 40 Bitcoins and
Yeah.
Safe
all
Moon
is-
and all those other, cryptocurrencies that he loves using. But we'll see him and a few others coming up in 450 heat number 2, which will be, of course, our last heat race of the night. 9 more riders go through to the main events, and then
The best
on
race
to
of the night.
the last chance qualifiers. See, honestly, that's the best thing about the Triple Crown is we start with the LCQs. Like we get the
Yeah.
good racing right from the get-go. But we'll of course have another Triple Crown in a couple weeks in Arlington. That'll be a lot of fun as well. But yeah,
fun.
yeah, fun for sure. We'll explain why it's going to be so fun next week in Tampa. But as a reminder, if anybody's confused, of course, in real life, the Oakland Supercross was postponed to the weekend after Tampa. We did run Oakland that week anyway, though, in MX Simulator. There was no postponement of Oakland in Sim. So there is an off week coming up after Tampa. We get 2 East rounds in Houston here tonight, and then Tampa next week. And then there is an off week for MX Simulator. So if you come on the 15th expecting to see MX Simulator, you will not see any of it because it was an off week. So just something to keep track of. We'll be back here next week, of course, for Tampa on the 8th. But 2 weeks from now, it's going to be dead silent.
All right, let's see who we got here in this 450 heat number 2. So many heavy hitters every time we scroll through this 450 class. It just blows my mind, just the names that you kind of see here. A lot
trying
of
to
old guys.
see-
Oh, Bob Joe.
Trying to see if we see any of these East Coast guys stepping up.
So Brandon Larson he's been a 250 West guy, I think. But yeah, the liver in California here, trying to race the 450 class
McIntosh
here tonight.
moving up.
McIntosh,
Frank
Ethan
Jackson, 28.
Parks.
Tyler Lang.
Some of these
Seth
guys-
Shirley. Seth Shirley, our championship
Seth Shirley,
leader, is here
yes.
too.
Trying
So-
to play spoiler here in this 450 class. It always bugged me as a 450 rider when I'm like, okay, we got these guys leaving to go drop down and race east, and then you get all these other guys. But
All right, here we go. It's time for the final heat race of the night. 450 heat number 2. Let's go again.
see a good jump from the number 78 on the inside. Yamaha getting a big wheelie though, and
Wow,
Leclerc is going
Leclerc.
to get a power wheelie, throw it down, pushes a little bit wide, but still able to edge out his teammate.
Jacob Hubbard to the
Jacob
outside on the
Hubbard.
78. Oh, and he's going to triple on to go to the race lead as Leclerc cannot double in. You got McIntosh on the 45.
Oh, and Hubbard stacks it and
Oh,
rides
what
the
a
wheel.
save. He just nose picked into the corner and somehow saved it. Leclerc goes to the lead. His Frenchman, fellow Frenchman, I should say, right behind him, Nathan Print in second. Hubbard in third. McIntosh in fourth, and Castellaneta rounding out the top 5. It is a Phil's flurry up front here with Castellaneta, McIntosh, Hubbard, and Leclerc all up here. And Leclerc bringing his Frenchman with him, Nathan Prin, in second place.
Yeah, Phil's Yamaha, they look like the Star Yamaha team, where they just sign half the field. So you can see it. There's Leclerc going with that triple over line, able to get that nice triple out, trying to extend his lead over Prin just a little bit. But Leclerc always pretty good through the whoops there. You see him bouncing around, but gets that nice little triple out. But so does Prin as well. Prin is actually closing the gap here. Going to go outside. We're going to see him triple on, but Leclerc is going to go the inside line.
I like the difference in those options. It seems like maybe inside is slightly faster if you get that inside clean enough.
I think so too, and I feel like on the 450s, the triple on's probably easier. I was never one very good at kind of flat tracking those inside lines, finding, especially on the 450, finding that balance between traction and sliding out that we saw Chase B actually have a mistake with earlier in Heat 1. But I really do like that inside. I think it is a little bit faster, and Leclerc already opening up a pretty big gap here as he got some free track to him there. See that triple over, but look at how he clips that though. It just can be so inconsistent, but I said, he's pretty good at that stuff, really good with working the bike. This might be his kind of track here tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what Print is doing. Is he going 3-3-3 through those whoops, and that's what's getting him time? Because that's 2 laps in a row where he's caught Leclerc in the whoops. I don't know what he's quite figured out. And by the way, yeah, I don't have Nathan Prin's skins, so if the people at TSCZ Productions could send them to me, that'd be great. I've downloaded every single thing on the skins thread in the forum and everything that has been DM'd to me. So I don't know why I don't have Prin's skins still. But if you ride for or are in the vicinity of the TSCZ Productions ride, send them to me because I've been asking for them since round 1.
Yeah, I wonder if is he technically still on the team, because we saw a TSCZ rider in the 250 class that we definitely have their skins, but not really sure what's going on with that. Would like to represent your team up front there because you've been ripping so much this season. Prin slides
Ooh,
out. I was
slides
hoping we
out.
would see what happens,
Yeah.
but Jacob Hubbard able to get a great drive through the whoops there.
See him kind of like hopping, and then he goes 3 out right there at the end. Like it's almost like he's purposely hitting like every other whoop and then using that third from the end to kind of triple out. But I don't know
Yeah.
what he's doing. It looks really fast as Hubbard moves into second, laying up into fourth now, just ahead of Castellaneta. You also have Connor Holiak in a good spot as well. Ethan Parks is in seventh. Seth Shirley, our 250 West Championship leader, moving up on a 450 here on the East Coast, runs in eighth right now. And then McIntosh right behind him at ninth. So Copeland outside looking in. Butigny, Matthias Janis just went down. Frank Jackson, another West guy, racing 450 East. B-Lars, Hayden Stevenson, Dakota French, James Ohashi, all back down here as well as Ashton Rakovsky. So the field kind of funneling out a little bit. But the lead battle hasn't really broken away too much. Leclerc has about a second and a half on his teammate. And look at Prin. Let's see what he does. So he's on top. He kind of goes 2 over, 2 over. No, he's not really
He's
at that point.
just
He's just right on top.
Blitzing, I think. That triple out, I think, was an anomaly there. That's kind of what Leclerc was doing. We see that triple inline there. It does gain a little bit of time there on Jacob Hubbard, it seems. So I think it's all about execution. How fast can you land down that super steep tunnel jump there, get yourself to the inside, not break traction, and go around that 90 fast. Something that the likes of Leclerc have got super down, but Jacob Hubbard not able to get it as
Ooh,
quick.
Hubbard!
Oh!
Scrubbed too hard into the corner and goes
Yeah,
down.
Clipped a foot peg and just
Yeah.
wadded up there.
I kind of wish in Sim it was possible when you do that, though, to have your feet go flying. Like you would
Yeah.
in real life if you clipped a
Just
foot peg.
blow your legs off right away.
It'd be very funny stuff to capture, but
9
Hubbard
o'clock knack into the corner.
Hubbard going to slip back behind Lang now and just in front of Castellaneta. So I believe that is still P4 for the 78 machine, but there is Lang. Prin now about 2.5 seconds, 3 seconds now behind Leclerc as he continues to go outside, triple on off. Oh, Leclerc just slides out with the lead, though. He's going to lose about a second or so, and Prin going to close the gap down just a little bit, but Leclerc still comfortably enough out front. There's Prin, Lang third, Hubbard fourth, Castellaneta fifth, Holiak sixth, and then a good battle back here in seventh between Ethan Parks and Seth Shirley. So Shirley, at this point, it looks like he's just trying to get into a 450 main event. It's a lot different than these 250 races where you're maybe the class of the field and trying to battle for wins. I think Shirley's just hoping to have a decent night here in Houston and get out of here with some good points and show that the 250 West guys can compete, I guess I should say, with these 450 dudes.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times it's when you're kind of moving up to race the opposite coast on the 450, sometimes it's just keeping your skills sharp, getting those gate drops. Oh my God, Shirley almost got a quad there? Or
He went for the Payson Johnson line? Or?
Yeah, I don't. It's hard to tell because they're kind of coming at the camera a little bit, so you can't really tell how far they're jumping until they land. But Seth Shirley, I feel like just trying to dip his toes in the water. Sometimes you kind of see where you stack up. Maybe you want to move up to 450s for next year. You know, you're over the 250 class, something like that. But just interesting to see. You're not really moving up into the 450 class most times to go up and try to get podiums, although that would be great if you could.
Doolies.
We got Seth Shirley actually making a pass here, moving one spot up a little bit higher past Ethan Parks. He's
Yeah.
going to try to...
He's going to triple to the inside of Holiak, too,
Oh.
who didn't quite get that rhythm section clean. So Holiak slipping back a spot as well. Shirley making good progress, trying to make this just a complete wash of Yamahas out front. Finally, a different bike other than a Phil's Yamaha, though, as the Underground RC ride of Shirley moves up into the mix here. Hubbard, Castellaneta, Tyler Lang, Leclerc, and now Prin has taken over the race lead as the white flag waves. So the 22 machine, whose skins we still do not have, is leading here on the final lap of this heat race. I'm not sure. Leclerc may have had a mistake, but Prince also been riding really well. 51 fours.
Ooh.
Look at that. I mean, he's going 2 seconds faster than Leclerc right there a lap right now.
Yeah, that's unreal. He must have, like, besides him slamming those whoops, look at that wheeling over, just carrying so much speed there, staying low, getting that bounce line right there. These 450 guys, they're just insane the way that they can push through some of these rhythms. And it looks like he's just, yeah, beating him out on straight raw speed, which is pretty insane. The Direct Designs rider, Nathan Prin, tripling on. Man, he just looks like he's in the flow state right now, just pulling away.
Yeah, here it is. Down to the flag. Nathan Prin gets a little sideways, but it's going to be Prin on top in 450 heat number 2. Leclerc crosses the line in P2 behind him. Tyler Lang ends up in 3rd. Jacob Hubbard behind that will get 4th. Seth Shirley rounds out our top 5. Castellaneta here in 6th. Ethan Parks down in 7th. Holiak in 8th. McIntosh Looks like he will go through in 9th. There's a big enough gap behind him back to Frank Jackson, who is going to round out the top 10 in this one. Janice, Buttigny, Bob Joe, Hayden Stevenson. Bob Joe found the trampoline in the whoops right there. He's down on the inside. Dakota French.
Oh, she found it in the rhythm section, too.
Ashton Rakovsky, Brandon Larson. Hey, myself even in warm-up is going to the last chance qualifiers, so we'll see me there. Ooh.
Heyo.
Oh, boy. All right, so we'll wait for the cuts to come in. A little bit of fun here as Nathan Prin's going to show us around the track here and see. You can see all these ruts, too, are developing. Look at that sand. Outside was working well for the 250 guys as Prin goes for the double pits to Chesty off the Supercross, but that inside line in the sand
Jason
really...
Thomas.
I know, right? Really cooked up a win here tonight, did you?
Oh, my God.
Boom, boom, boom.
I'm so done. Now I'm gonna be looking at people's names trying to make some terrible JT podium jokes, but a little bit better than just kind of walking away from the rider after their interview. I'm sitting there staring off into the distance. But oh man, so here we go, 250 LCQ. Sometimes, most of the time, the best race of the night. We've got 250 East Coast class. Their first race of the year. You do not want to miss out on the main event, and that tells me that we are going to get some carnage here as we hit the racetrack. A lot of hungry guys wanting to be in the main event and trying to score some points and start their season off on the right foot. So I'm super pumped. Dungy pumped.
I was going to say easy, right?
Super Dungy pumped.
I'm this pumped right now, man. I'm so super pumped, man. Oh, good stuff. All right. Yes. 250 last chance qualifier. I know you know what? We had some beverages on the stream last week, and I feel like we're looser this week.
No, I like when you let me get loose because it makes me it flows more comfortable talking.
Oh, yes.
Get some laughs in there. I know I saw the chat in there earlier, Andrew Maroney. I couldn't stop myself giggling when you made a joke, and I just really awesome when we can have a great time here, but still bring you guys some great commentary from these races as we, try to kill some time as well while we're loading back into the race.
We got to be like Travers and Costa from the Canadian Motocross Championship.
Oh, where they just don't even care.
Oh, dude, they're just screaming. GG boy with a yard sale back there.
Well, that's why I'm like, Anthony Petron, he's going to be Piccioni real quick here as this season goes on, as I get back into kind of saying my nicknames for the riders here. Sometimes it's just a little bit easier too, but easier to kind of identify.
Is that how you say his name?
No, that was when we first saw him.
But did we ever ask him if it's Pachon or Pachon or whatever we say?
Yeah, but it's definitely not Piccioni, but I thought that was...
Piccioni. Come on,
I feel like Pichon. Piccioni. Just getting loose. Hi, Morin.
Hey, Algot Erickson, thank you so much. We're very, very close to 100K. I can almost taste it at this point in time. Very excited to get to that mark. I still don't really have a good plan for something fun to do at 100K, but I'll come up with it. We'll get there when it's time, and we'll see how soon it is that we get there. I'm hoping I can get there while I'm actually home. I may end up be traveling when I get to 100K, but we'll see. We're 200 away. The countdown is on.
Do an impromptu subscriber live stream or something. Drop a fun video. It would be fun to do an invite only or something on one of those Don't Fall tracks, or maybe open up, get some people to join us. But this guy, Colin Allen, I don't know what you were banned for.
Yeah,
but...
I got a little intel earlier today from our guy Holtzy. He said that Colin Allen is actually making his pro debut tonight and is going to be fast. So thus far has not been fast enough to make it into the main event, but it is time for him to show whether he has got it or not. 250 last chance qualifier right here in Houston. 4 go through. Let's find out who they are.
Oh, someone hits the gate there. Tyler Blauer is off to a bad start, and a lot of KTMs up the inside. Let's see. We got some people sliding, pushing wide, but it's going to be Victor Norlander who keeps it tight in that first corner. He's going to get probably the best feeling in MX Sim is a whole shot in an LCQ. He's just got to hold on to this here, as the field is actually separated pretty quick there with those top 4. So these guys As we move on back down the field a little bit, we see Norlander, then Colin Allen, who
Up there,
trying
yeah.
to show us how fast he is. Alex Zellner, and in 4th place spot, Blowers, after not the best jump there, but he does have some company coming up right behind him.
Oh, yeah, Jacob Kelly alongside
yeah.
Hunter Plum. Oh, yeah. Oh, Hunter
Oh,
Plum
no.
with a little tee up. He's going down the inside and giving her a send bud as he's going to try to make up this time and make the pass on Blowers. Meanwhile, McLaughlin goes for the send from downtown and makes the pass up into 4th, and into the final transfer spot he goes as Blowers actually put Plum on the ground behind that. So a little bit of breathing room back there for Tyler Blowers as they hop through the whoops. Oh, and down goes Alex Zellner. He found the trampoline in the middle, and he has gone down and off the machine. Blowers up into the final transfer spot.
Blowers following closely behind McLaughlin. His teammate, Team Fried there, was the one who actually won our first 250 heat here tonight, if I recall correctly. So he's trying to hold on to that 3rd position right here in front of Tyler and try to ride this thing into the main event. But a couple guys not too far behind, and our top 2 are pretty checked out. So it's going to be, yeah, they got a decent lead up there, Colin right behind Norlander.
Yeah.
So it's going to be all about, can Blowers hold on with the company he's got here? He hangs up.
Oh, Cody
his
Cooper
rear
triples
wheel,
in, triples again.
off, triples back in.
To the inside is going to make the pass. Blowers squares it off. Going to be side by side going into the rhythm section again. Let's see who gets the better opportunity into this corner. Can Blowers square it off and maybe get a drive through the whoops? That might be where he has to do it. Yes, he does. He's going to square off to the inside, turns to the outside again. Cody Cooper hopping through the whoops a little bit. Blowers a pretty good drive. Going to tuck to the inside over the tunnel jump. Oh, Cooper swings wide. Blowers to the inside, tries to double in. It's still side by side. Blowers might try to make the pass back into 4th. Let's see if he gets it. No, Cooper shuts the door.
Yeah, Blowers not able to make the pass yet, but he is so close. You know he's just going to be eyeing that spot, finding out where can I make this move, or maybe I can take this outside line. He will make a mistake. So all eyes on Cooper right now. See if he has any issues like Blowers did actually to lose the spot 1 lap ago. Right here in the same corner, he's actually able to get that triple this time. Looks like he's going to be pulling up a little bit, not able to make the pass here yet, but these 250 class, especially this East Coast, not as much experience as the other classes. So you've got to watch for some bombs going off here, and these people, you know, exploding, whether it's in the whoop section or a rhythm section. These guys not as much experience, able to make mistakes at any time. So keep an eye out. They're kind of never safe until they cross the finish line. Cody Cooper holding on here strong after making that pass last lap.
McLaughlin through the whoops, got the hops and the skips, and almost went through the front door on the last whoop. A nice job to save it. We have 2 minutes and a lap left to go in this last chance qualifier. All eyes right now on Cody Cooper, the I-Spec ride, trying to hold off the challenge from behind Tyler Blowers on the 746 ride. Whoa, riders getting together in the background. Huge off across the start straight. Norlander continues to lead from Colin Allen, still in 2nd. McLaughlin up here in 3rd, who we just talked about, and then Cooper. So 3, 4, 5 still pretty close together, and then a big gap back to 6th right now, which is Austin Bear trying to get back to the mix. Blowers has just stayed right tight behind Cody Cooper, hoping for an opportunity. As there's McLaughlin on the 47, hopping his way through the whoops again.
Cooper as well.
Yeah, these guys, seems about halfway through that front end, dives down for these guys, and then it's just jump through and survive.
Yeah, I've almost had those issues when I've ridden a couple of these tracks trying to figure out how to hit the whoops. Plot twist, I haven't. But kind of the only way I did figure out how to make it through without dying every time was trying to get on top a little bit. But honestly, dropping down and trying to kind of jump your way through the end. These whoops are really, really difficult this year. And these 250 guys just doing whatever can get them through consistently. It's not all about speed. If you're on the ground every lap, it doesn't matter how fast you hit it. Getting through slowly is better than not getting through at all. But we got Austin Bear, man, losing a lot of space on Cody Cooper here.
Yeah, Blowers lost a lot of time. Bear is trying to close up on him. Devin Davis is back here with Riley Hewen, who DNF'd the heat race. Not sure why Hewen didn't make it through, but back to McLaughlin versus Cooper, which is still at the moment the battle for 3rd. They're right behind Norlander, though, and Colin Allen with the lead. These guys are not that far away from where they were, so it looks like Allen and Norlander both drifted a ways back. I think Norlander maybe went down, but this is a little bit closer together than it was, as we just barely missed getting the white flag. 5 minutes happened 10 seconds ago, and these guys all just went over the finish line jump about that time as well. So 2 laps to go right now here on the LCQ for the 250 class in Houston. Colin Allen, Victor Norlander, Noah McLaughlin, Cody Cooper, nose to tail out front, but Blowers, Austin Bear still sitting back here, Devin Davis, and Riley Hewen hoping for an opportunity to get in if these leaders up front get sideways and sketchy. McLaughlin was down, so through went Norlander and Cooper, but suddenly Blowers is right there again.
Yeah, Blowers is right there. He's got about a lap and a quarter to go, so it's all about who can get through
Oh,
these whoops clean.
Norlander down!
Wads it up on the last couple whoops. He was getting sketchy there in the middle, not able to wrangle it back underneath him. He's going to lose that spot, and so that's going to be an easy move up into 4th place for Blowers as Norlander goes from 1st
back to 7th or 6th or so, somewhere. Yeah,
just
Austin
short.
Bear now down in 5th, Blowers in 4th, McLaughlin 3rd, and Cody Cooper in 2nd with Colin Allen leading, and Allen's going to go down with the race lead. I don't think these guys were close enough for a transfer spot change, but we'll see. He's going to get it turned around just as Tyler Blowers goes through. He's going to have to roll into this section. Austin Bear can smell blood in the water. He's going to feast like he's in Yosemite if he can get up there and catch Colin Allen to make this pass for the final transfer spot. Our leaders up here still have to get through the whoops clean. Cody Cooper has gone to the front on the final lap of the race. Let's see how he does. Nicely done on top of the whoops and tripling out. Good job for him. McLaughlin, he's through as well. Blowers is as well. And Allen does get through the whoops on the final lap. That was critical. Not over just yet. He's got to try to hold on for a couple more corners. Meanwhile, up front, it is going to be Cody Cooper winning the last chance qualifier. McLaughlin crosses the line 2nd, Blowers 3rd, and Colin Allen in his first career professional start does go through out of this one in 4th.
Austin Bear going to end up just short right there. Andre Smith as well. Jacob Kelly all missing out. Christopher McPherson, Devin Davis, rough start on the 250 East. Pardelow, McClure, Gafford, and Noah Viney. He's a local, or not really local. Look at that 5. He doesn't care. He said the race is already over. I can do what I want, show off my skills. He's going to be doing that in real life Supercross. He's a Canadian now living down here in SoCal, trying to make the race, but not able to get it all the way together here. Noah Viney just cruising around now, doing some Chromie Chaos kind of action over here. But we're gonna have to get you across the line, Noah, or you're gonna have to disconnect so that we can end up seeing all of our cuts. As we try to see our cuts, we still need 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 19th. Noah Viney's just freestyling.
Dude, he's just going backwards. He's trying to get himself banned.
He's about to be like Colin Allen over there.
Oh my gosh, he hasn't even finished the race yet. What are you doing, Noah?
Well, he went and he
Viney?
hit the whole
This is the
finish
combine
section.
or something? Jesus moly. Oh, he goes for the quad and he greases it.
Was that a quad?
Yeah. Went off the table and then quad singled.
Oh, okay.
And he still hasn't finished the race.
Yeah, he's gonna
get himself a nice kick, a Rooney from the server at this point.
Yes, sir.
Tom Ambrook, Hunter Plum. Hey, there we go. There's penalties. Let's see if they changed up front. Allen, Blowers, and McLaughlin. Ooh, Cooper did lose the win. McLaughlin got it by 5/10, but that is okay. He still gets 2nd in this one, so outside gate pick regardless. But McLaughlin, like his team fried teammate in the heat race, taking a dub here tonight. Let's see if they can get it done, though. Oh, it would get nice and close to the penalties right there.
0.26 seconds on cuts there for our race leader, and that makes him lose it by 0.58. So, I mean, yeah, it's just one gate pick. It honestly doesn't really matter. As long as you're in, you're in.
They're going to be out there. That's for sure. All right, 450 last chance qualifier coming up next. And if you're just joining us, you haven't been with us tonight in round 5 of the MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Championship, well, you missed out on maybe the biggest storyline so far this year, and that is Payson Johnson again going to a last chance qualifier. The number 51 machine did not make it through out of the heat race, so he is headed to the LCQ here tonight, which is, of course, not a great look for him, but if he can turn it around, we've seen before him getting a little bit extra time, perhaps in an LCQ, maybe lighting a fire under his butt, turns it around for the main event, and does some damage, but we'll see. He has to make it through first.
Yeah, it's I have no doubt if he gets in, he can be just as competitive. This 450 class, the 20-minute plus 1 lap main events, there kind of almost always seems to be enough time for these top guys to work themselves back up into the top 10, even after some horrendous starts that we have seen from our title contenders so far through these first 4 rounds. But it's all about this race. It's going to be a shorter race. Payson needs to get a great start here. and keep himself on 2 wheels, stay out of trouble, because only 4 spots into the main event here tonight from this LCQ. And just because you have the speed, you got to keep it together for a couple minutes plus a lap here just to get into that main event. You don't want to lose points when you are in top 3 in the championship. This would be huge for the championship hopes of Payson Johnson if he misses this main event here tonight. So all eyes are going to be on him. A couple other noticeable favorites that we did see miss the main event in their heat race. You had Chase Blakely in the same heat as Payson Johnson. And a bunch more heavy hitters that we're going to be focused on here for these final 4 spots into the 450 main event here in Houston.
Yeah, I used to think that, back in the day, if you missed a main event, missed a couple main events, you still maybe had a shot at a title. But I feel like in the modern day with MX Simulator, the way that these guys are, the consistency that we see from our top contenders in this series, it really is a nail in the coffin if you miss a main event. I think Johnson would have to do too much digging at that point in time to come back from. He's already at a deficit anyway. It's not like he's leading the championship if he misses the main event tonight and then he still is within 1 race distance. It's likely that if he misses tonight's main event, he's a full race behind, and we have 12 rounds after this, but it is still a big road to climb back up. So Johnson has to go to work right here, right now, and make this main event if he still wants a shot at this 2023 450 MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross title.
Yeah, let's see, going through the field a little bit here. Brandon Larson, Dalton Plessinger, Butigny, Adam Holm, Bob Joe, Hayden Stevenson, J.R. Reyes, Anthony Pichon, J.R. Reyes again.
Found him.
Didn't know we ran out of room there. But, man, these guys, they're just so fast. It's crazy to watch these guys. I want to see you guys do this rhythm section here. See how they're having to bounce like that. It's so crazy. That with the speed that they're going through that rhythm to carry in, you basically have to just slam into the face of the next jump and hope you don't get a weird kick. That's why we've seen a couple big falls and weird bounces from some guys here. But as we get ready for the 450 LCQ gate drop, we zoom in on Payson Johnson on the first gate.
Yeah, it's getting nervous time for Payson Johnson. He's got to make it through here or it is done. Time to go racing. Last chance qualifier in Houston.
Payson Johnson gets a good start there. If he can hug the inside, there's no doubt he will get close to this.
Swooped in from the outside. A couple guys got the jump on him there, but it's Butigny with the whole shot. Johnson's in about 4th spot over the tunnel jump on the first lap. Avoided some of that early chaos, and he's going to jump into 3rd. So Butigny, J.R. Reyes, Johnson up into 3rd place early on behind J.R. Reyes, and Adam Holm rounds out the transfer spots as everybody jockeys for those early positions. Relatively clean start for an LCQ, but a couple guys did get hung up after the tunnel jump, it seems.
Yeah, a lot of guys here, when you see them nose to tail like this off the start in an LCQ, you know it's going to be hectic. So I'm excited to see what we have coming up here. As we see,
that is going to be J.R. Reyes going down on the Finca ride.
Oh!
Someone getting tossed over the berm like a wet salad up there. Is that Nick Tomasunis? It is. Tomasunis on the MXLocker.com ride. Not going to be too thrilled about that maneuver that was put on him. And he's already disconnected, so that shows you his displeasure with that one right there. A lot of guys stacked up in that other berm. But it is still Butigny from Johnson, Holm, and now Brandon Larson in the final transfer spot after we lost J.R. Reyes. So Larson on the outside pulls up alongside a Holm over the tunnel jump. You also have Bob Joe, Brandon Larson on the outside there, and Hayden Stevenson tripling in. Bob Joe with the nose pick. Other lane! Got to be careful. Riders coming over that double. Don't expect him to be there. And a rider down going up and over the jump is Hayden Stevenson as Bob Joe rights the ship and continues on. So it is Butigny, Johnson, Larson, Holm with a bit of a breakaway, and it looks like Johnson's going to the lead.
Yeah, Butigny overjumped that triple right there, let Payson Johnson get to the lead. Butigny's going to try to triple back and run alongside of Payson. He's going to be on the outside, though, so Payson's going to have the preferred line as Payson holds on to the lead here. Let's see if he does anything crazy here. No, still going for the normal triple. I don't see him going for the quad
down. Facing backwards, Brandon Larson out of a transfer spot. So through goes Ohashi, James Ohashi. Oh, and Holm hopping through the end of the whoops right there as well. So B-Lars picks it up in 5th now, right behind Ohashi. And the battle for the final transfer spot is still on with the C4DMX ride now holding on to P4.
Yeah, I don't think these guys are going to get a lot of breathing room unless you're going way until the last lap here. So you really have to be on your toes, start throwing down hot laps here and keep it consistent. This track's not going to break down as much as the other races, so you might not have some of those ruts to hold on to. You just got to focus on hitting your marks for just a couple minutes. All these guys, their heart rates are high. They're going to be nervous. They want to get into this main event. They want to be scoring points. So Hashi is not in the most comfortable position here, even though he does have a little bit of gap. Looks like about half a second back to B-Lars. But Ohashi really, really nervous, and honestly, he's probably praying that one of these guys right in front of him goes down, because it's never comfortable being on the bubble here. Just trying to ride as smooth as possible, but the guys behind you, you know they're pushing. You're trying to hold it up and keep it on two wheels, and everyone behind you is pushing as fast as they can. So Ohashi getting a little close, but man, not much going on here yet. Just kind of training behind Adam Holm here. These guys are just trying to hold on for dear life.
Yeah, it is still very close. 2, 3, 4 on your screen as Holm almost lays it down coming into the sand. Holm going to slide back into the clutches of James Ohashi. They're still right behind Butigny, and Johnson absolutely running away with this thing out front, as we maybe expected him to do in this. It's like watching Chase Sexton go to the LCQ at San Diego, just get a huge lead and take off, but that's what he has to do as Holm slips back a little bit. Ohashi's gotten by, and here comes Larson. You got Matthias Janis on the 14. You also have Trevor Spencer back here on the Finca ride. So a few guys trying to get around Holm. Larson's going for it. Makes the pass. Holm gets it right back as they enter the whoops. Ohashi gets kicked all out of shape, but I think he saved it by the end.
Yeah, Brandon Larson able to hold on to it. Just got a little bit of wheel spin trying to get back on the gas.
Holm squares it back. Janis is just sitting here licking his chops, hoping for this opportunity, but he cases the triple, and he's going to lose a spot.
Ooh,
no, he
gets
landed,
taken down.
Landed underneath of, actually. Weird crash, but now Holm, a little bit of breathing room behind him, still has to get back around Larson, who did a great job of making a couple quick passes to get ahead of Holm. Let's see if Holm returns the favor.
Yeah, a little bit of dualies there as we come over. Brandon Larson. Oh, and he scrubs too hard.
And he brings Holm with him.
Adam Holm is off the bike,
where are they going to go? Hung up in the corner. Trevor Spencer completely stopped as Holm gets going, still in the final transfer spot. That's going to allow Janis back into the picture, though, after he went down. So Holm not able to get really far away just yet. Janis, B-Lars still right there as well. Boy, oh boy, Adam Holm just got caught up with B-Lars mess right there, and it also brought Trevor Spencer with them.
Yeah, man, insane luck to be off the bike and still able to get back up in a transfer spot like that as Trevor Spencer
360
and rides it out. Man, just Brandon Larson, just a little bit of those rookie nerves.
Oh, Janis over the bars, and Larson followed him off the track.
Yeah,
just jumping to the left out there off the outside of the track.
It's the worst. You get tunnel vision there. You're kind of hugging that line.
There
You're like, I'm just following this guy, and then the other guy goes over the bars, lands flat. Luckily, he's able to hold it together. Frank Jackson now getting a little bit closer, moving up, I think, into the 6th position here as he is trying to work his way up. Man, Brandon Larson
close
just
up on B-Lars ahead of him.
Get those.
Holm still in that final transfer spot now with a 4-second advantage over B-Lars. Ohashi, Butigny sitting comfortable. Johnson with a huge lead out front. It seems like he's gone into hot lap mode, trying to figure out a couple things about this track. Got 4:37 on the clock that time by, so 2 laps to go because the white flag will come out next time by. And it is a good perspective to see what Johnson is doing at this point in time to try to go faster on this track.
Just ridiculous things. It doesn't even make sense. That's not the best time to do it right in front of the race leader, but you never know. With the trying to get rid of that blue bar.
Yeah,
I mean, it's okay. I can't say I haven't done that before. Payson Johnson, though, you can just see how fast he goes. He slams into that. He doesn't even care about landing into that base of that double there. He's just got insane speed everywhere, pushing the absolute limits of his bike right now. And absolute limits of what he can do, but he has his legs on the bike still. Does not go off. A commentator's curse again on Payson Johnson here. Should maybe just start talking about certain people more if I want them to not do well, but Payson Johnson.
Here it is, though. I guess I missed it. White flag was out, so coming to the line, Johnson's going to take the win in the LCQ. Oh, double pits to Chesty again. Enzo Butigny going to come across the line in 2nd. Ohashi crosses the line in 3rd with a sick underflip. That was tight. And Adam Holm just trying to grind his way to the flag. He's got a big lead over Dakota French, so he's just going to roll everything to the flag. I mean, no harm, no foul. Doesn't need to get to the flag too quickly, so just roll there, roll there. It'd be hilarious if he lost on cuts. Is he going to let Dakota French go? Wow, Adam Holm is letting Dakota French go. This is just like Payson Johnson a couple of years ago, allowing a different rider to win the main event. But Dakota French goes through out of this LCQ. I'm not sure why Adam Holm elected he did not want to race the main event tonight, but that is all on Holm, just pulling to the side of the track and letting him go.
See, I feel like that shouldn't be allowed.
I agree.
Always, like, I don't know if it needs to be a penalty.
If you don't want to race the main event, don't race.
I feel like if you do it, it should be bad though. It shouldn't be, because maybe he's saying I'm not going to make any of the other.
He almost made it on cuts too. 5/100 of a second.
Oh my
He
god,
almost
that
would
would
have
have been
just
so
forced into the main
funny.
event anyway. Gosh.
I like realistically. Okay, so we know who got in here. What would be a penalty? I would almost want to penalize the person they let in, you know, if it's their friend, but it's like you can't do that. So it's got to be a good penalty. If Adam says maybe I don't want to race tonight because I can't race next week, but he wants to race in later rounds, like, do you ban him from the series? Do you give him like a 5-round ban? If it's just 1 round, like 1 round suspend? I don't. It's
Fine
just
him.
weird. It's
Make him pay knobbies.
that would be sick. I mean, have them rebuy the race entry fee. I don't know if they, if they want to race again. Like, it's just. It sucks because we watched this great race. Adam Holmes seems like he's pushing for this transfer spot, and then he just gives it away. Like, gonna get controversial again and get like blown up again in the chat or whatever. But I don't.
I mean, you don't want to take the game too seriously. I get it, but a lot of people do take this game seriously. A lot, what is it?
Paid the race.
18 guys just didn't make the main event that were 17 because Holmes,
Yeah.
but 17 guys didn't just make the main event that wanted to. If you don't want to race the main event, don't race.
Yeah, you're one more guy out on the start. What if Brandon Larson didn't die because he didn't try to block past you and he didn't try to push himself? Like different, like it's the butterfly effect of you just being in the race in general can affect anything. So it's like, I don't know, man. I like Adam too, so it's just like, come on, dude. But
Come on, Adam.
there's got to be a way to do something about it. Like, I don't know. It's just a bummer because that race was great. We're like, Adam Holmes, get the final transfer. Oh, just kidding. He gave it up. He doesn't even care.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean, there was quite a bit of controversy. I feel like after Johnson gave up his first career 450 main event win, we hyped it up, we built it up, we got him all the way to the flag, and then he pulled to the side and let a bunch of people go and finished 8th back in Houston in 2021. So it's a catch-22. Like, at the end of the day, yeah, it is just a video game. But you also want it to be fair. You want it to be a good competition among competitors. And sometimes when you have someone in there that doesn't want to race, it doesn't feel as competitive. It doesn't feel like you're having, a good race against other people. So I get it. I get if he doesn't want to race the main event. I get it. You just want to race and have a little bit of fun. But I think you just don't race if you don't want to make it into the main event. All these other guys are here trying to make the main event, but Adam Holm wasn't. So it is what it is.
Everyone in the chat is clearly against any sort of penalties at all because they just are like, just Wild West.
Yeah, dude.
You can punt everyone everywhere.
Yeah, brother.
We did that. It was called 2013, I raced against D. Davis. Like, I know.
Yeah, I've had Gunnar Fugler in my shrouds a few times.
Oh, yeah. Someone asked where he was earlier, and I was like, hopefully not anywhere near the race because you're going to see people flying across the track. But I don't know. It just bugs me, man.
I mean, the people in chat right now, they're like, oh, wow, it's a sim. Oh, he spent so much time sitting at his computer. You clearly don't know how much it takes to get to the top level of this game. You don't.
Well,
you
that's
don't know
the reason.
What it's like to be Alexis Leclerc. You don't know what it's like to be Payson Johnson. You really don't. So it is a time-consuming process. All of these guys that are at the top level of this game, I would bet Leclerc has 10,000 hours on this game? Maybe?
Him at least.
Yeah.
I would say I've got from 2012, April 2012 to now. I still even play probably maybe a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours a month, but I would say it's got to be at least 4,000 for me. Most of these kids, they start when they're younger. People pick up the game when they're 14, 15, and they play until they're 20. But some of these kids are putting in 7-8 hours a day. They're playing this game more than Eli Tomac rides his dirt bike.
Yeah.
They probably have more,
yeah.
They have easily more hours on this game than the best of the best. Probably more than Ricky Carmichael and James Stewart. You think of how much time these guys put into it.
All right. Aside from all that, we're finally here. We're ready for the first 250 East race of the year. We don't want to blow it up any more than it is. Here we go, folks. Round 1 of 250 East, and it starts right now.
See that number 1 on that very inside gate, gets a good jump, gets that wheelie. He's going to try to hug the inside.
Oh, some chaos. A few guys going down. One of them was a Phil's rider, but it is Bryce Whelan. on the number 1 who rips the RaceFactorGaming.com hole shot, starting the year off in style with those red backgrounds on his machine as he leads the field through the first
Seth
couple
Garrett.
corners. A couple guys going down in transition right there, but it is Seth Garrett in second, Cody Cooper third, Evan Holt fourth, Talon Zollers rounds out the top 5, Carson West, Nygren, Thompson. Balls are all right up here towards the front. You got a huge gaggle of riders. Look at the different lines through the sand. You have a freight train inside and outside. It looks like Daytona out there. Drafting classes and partners. We got Trileys, quads these riders down. I think that was Cody Cooper as it's all kicking off in the start of the 250 East main event.
You see more carnage after that triple down there, bottom of your screen. People cartwheeling everywhere. Carson West, though, with a great start as well. Pushing up. You see that top 5 are about the only ones that survive, but Bryce Whelan, our reigning champion, getting probably one of the best starts you can get right there. First gate, getting hugging up the inside and setting himself apart by like a second already on this first lap. So he is trying to go and check out. He says 15th qualifying spot. I do not care. I'm going to go out here and show these guys how it's done. There's a reason I have this number 1 plate on my bike. So he's off to a great start here and does not have much competition early. But moving back in the field, we do have some more people following him. Seth Garrett, not super close as well, but moving further back. Carson West being chased. Actually, pretty big gap for that top 3, but
Yeah, they're
Zollers,
already pretty
after a
spread
great
out.
heat, he's got off to a great start this main event as well.
Yep, Zollers back here, like you said. Evan Holt, Nygren also in the mix. Tyler Blowers. So it is still pretty tight-knit among the group, about 5 through 10 here. As Trevin Thompson, who we saw win his heat race earlier tonight, he gets passed by Seth Crotty, who just barely made it out of his heat race. So that's 2 tails of the tape right there. That was Trevin Thompson going to the gate P1 with the first gate selection, and Seth Crotty with P17 or P18 gate pick. And now Thompson almost went down behind him. So Crotty able to come out well. Oh, riders down on the inside. That is Blowers down with Nygren on the 76. So another stack up of more riders losing positions that they had a good start right there. Nygren's going to go back to 12th, as it looks like Blowers will end up inside of the top 10 still. Everybody jockeying for these early positions and nobody really breaking away from each other except for the 2 or 3 riders out front. Zoller still dealing with Evan Holt. Carson West is still third. Garrett in second, and Whelan continues to lead.
Yeah, I feel like this 250 class, especially it being a little bit younger, a little bit less experienced, there's a lot more kind of focusing on that start there in your first couple laps. If you can stay clean there, Bryce Whelan able to save it in the whoops as he gets kicked a little bit sideways. But if you can stay clean the first couple laps, separate yourself, you are so much better off for the rest of the race. If you set yourself back early, it's really, really hard when these guys are just jockeying for position so much. People diving inside of you nonstop. Like, it's just crazy. People going down everywhere. So this top 3 have separated themselves so much. But other than that, it's starting to kind of get a little bit tighter down by like the 5th through 10th range. But right now, Bryce Whelan just kind of putting on a clinic here. I'm trying to get away though. Wants that over 10-second lead where he can be safe to have a fall off if anything happens here.
Yeah, Seth Garrett is still actually keeping it close though, and Carson West actually was catching Seth Garrett until that little slide out. 54 flat, 55 flat out of Seth Garrett, 54.7 out of Whelan. So already seeing times go up a little bit. West up into the Davlos bales, almost got into the Steve Mathis Memorial nets up there as well, as Talon Zollers goes into 3rd place. Holtze moves up into 4th, a great ride for the Connect Visual 85. Great to see that as well. If you are stoked about the opening ceremonies tonight, that is all this man right here. Evan Holt has been crucial for us here at Start Your Systems this year, putting together an awesome broadcast for you guys, and we have nobody more to thank than Holtze, but he's going to thank himself for not crashing right there because he just got taken to the ground by Carson West and did not fall off the bike. So Holt now has Thompson right behind him in a battle for 4th.
Yeah, Trevin Thompson after that great first heat, trying to make up some spots here. He's inside the top 5, so that's all where you want to be. But Holtze as well, holding on as Trevin Thompson goes over the bars. I'm so sorry. It seems like every time I talk about anyone, they just cartwheel. But look at that, a freight train. So that 5th to about 12th spot, one little mistake, you can drop 5 or 6 spots as they're jumping all over each other. Trevin Thompson going to dive up the inside, not going to make the pass work. But Alec Horn was, man, crossed all over those guys. Surprised he didn't clip someone and go down. So he is chasing Karate right there.
Yeah, Karate just in front of him
him
on the 59. You got Cody Cooper, or Carson Wentz, excuse me, going down on the whoops again.
He is falling apart.
Yeah, more riders coming apart a little bit here. I'll tell you what, that cross line by all those guys, Thompson, Balzer, everybody in the rhythm section right there, looked like the opening scene of the Nitro Circus movie when you have all the cars and stuff jumping across each other. Don't know how they didn't hit each other when you're seeing that either. Whoa, someone just missed the tunnel and almost absolutely murdered Trevin Thompson as Seth Crotty goes to the inside. He looked like Cody Dar missing the tunnel right there. There's dualies, Triley's, Quadsies back there in the background. Crotty going to get stood up by Thompson in the berm. Cut underneath in the background. Alec Horn making a great pass.
Oh, and just...
Balzer, we got riders splitting through. He's going to get four
that?
spots
Seth
in
Carr.
one. Seth Carr. Oh, and a huge takeout. And Balzer just goes for the murder on McLaughlin and puts him on the deck as well. It's all kicking off in the midfield here as Horn, who was battling and did win our heat race earlier on. You got Gerst also going off the track. He's getting back on. Alec Horn, Seth Carr, Seth Crotty all in the mix as well. Absolute scenes out here right now at round 5 of MotoOption Supercross, and it's not over yet.
Man, Seth Carr, that was that was just an insane rhythm section there. He's just kind of like, I'm gonna send it and pray that it works out well here. But Seth Crotty, he's got some competition here after having to go to that LCQ, having a great start here, but he's having to hold off a lot of carnage behind him, a lot of action going on. He's kind of the leader of this freight train right now, and he can't really seem to separate himself. Seth Carr gets that triple. He's going to try to pass up the outside, and he does quite easily. Seth Crotty almost gets twofered there by Alec Horn, but Alec Horn not able to make the move there. But these guys still nice and tight. 4 guys within about a second here. Just kind of trying to follow each other and see where they can kind of get a drive and make a pass here.
A lot of hopping through the whoops again. A couple moments, and Crotty gets together with Alec Horn. I've never seen a cross jump in the whoops, but I just saw it right there.
From the outside, too.
I know, right? As Matt Cromie's going to sneak his way into the mix right here on the 503. So Cromie in a good position now behind Ethan Gurr. Seth Carr finally broke away from this pack. Then it's still Holtze, Zollers, Garrett, and Whelan. Battle for the lead, kind of still close. Garrett has not let the number 1 machine of Bryce Whelan get too far away. 54 flat last time by versus a 53.7, 1.5 seconds separating the two. Not sure if there's anything really to gain or lose on this track right now for either rider, so as long as they stay on 2 wheels, I'd imagine this gap stays close. But the biggest difference maker for both of them is we're about to get into some pretty heavy lap traffic. There's a group of like 8 riders in a line actually that Whelan is going to hit probably in the next lap or 2, and that could definitely affect this race.
Yeah, it's almost that like 8th to like 15th battle that we've been watching is the big pack that they're coming up on as we see people cartwheeling already in the background. So that's what Bryce Whelan's going to be looking forward to.
Oh.
He actually slides out, pushes his front, but catches it in that rut, able to hold on. Seth Garrett, that's going to allow him to
he cases though.
almost get back up on him. We saw him when we were on board. He's making so many mistakes in the rhythm before the finish line and continuing to make mistakes here. So not able to capitalize when Bryce Whelan makes those mistakes of his own, but we are now getting into lappers as Bryce Whelan is through the first one of this pack, and we'll see how it affects both of these guys, if it affects them evenly or not.
Yeah.
So Seth Garrett's still pushing up here, going for that triple on.
And he triples onto the back of whoever that is. I'm trying to get a number. And then Garrett hits him again and goes down. He just got a little overzealous. If he just waited a little bit longer, he definitely would not have gotten involved right there. Trying to see if that was
almost like an 88 or something.
Oh, I think it was Dylan Love on the Verb Moto 174. So now he falls back in the clutches of Seth Carr. Talon Zollers, meanwhile, got through all that and is up into 2nd place on the 182 Covenant ride. He's 8 seconds down of Whelan. Whelan's still trying to deal with this lap traffic and make his way through. He's now on the back of Tyler Blowers. And there's still a lot of action mixed through the midfield here as another mistake right there allows Seth Carr by. Seth Garrett goes from 2nd to 4th in less than a lap.
Yeah, he's just kind of fell apart a little bit there. It was interesting. He went for that triple on, which we don't see many of these 250 riders doing at all. But he does it while trying to get past the lapper. So the lapper is probably thinking everyone's going inside, stepping on. I'm just going to go right out by the bales. But that's actually what kind of screwed Garrett over. Just kind of a weird lapse in judgment there by Garrett. Really interesting to see that, but man, kind of falling apart. So what he needs to do now is kind of regroup. He is solidly in 3rd place. He's just got to kind of regroup and see if he can gain back up, try to gain up about 7 seconds to get back to that second place spot. He does have Seth Carr behind him, though, who's going to be coming up soon.
Inside line in the sand, too.
Yeah, that
So
inside line
deep.
is huge. I expected the outside to be a little bit more used, but maybe it was just used more in the 450 class. But this track's starting to break down. Seth Garrett, man, not even able to get
And
the
here
double
comes Seth
triple.
Carr again. So Carr continuing to play a little bit of cat and mouse here. You got Gerst. He just went down in the background as well. Carson West goes through. Gerst is getting passed by Evan Holt right now. So Holt jumps over the top, gets by Gerst. Seth Crotty's still right back here on the 59, trying to lurk into the shadows as Schwartner gets passed by Colin Allen. So Allen out of the last chance qualifier and into the top 10 in his first career 250 main event. Good ride right now going on for the 355 as he's up into 9th. Schwartner rounds out our top 10, and you can see these guys still hopping on these 250s. Nobody can figure out how to get that drive about halfway onward through the loops on these 250s.
Yeah, 250 is struggling a lot, but it almost, I kind of like it for them hitting that inside nicely over the tunnel jump there. But yeah, Allen, Crotty, and was Schwartner in the LCQ as well, or was that was he straight out of the heat? I remember maybe he was just in a big battle there in one of those races, but I mean, 2 out of the top 10 being from the LCQ in this race shows some good bounce back for those guys. Maybe they just had some nerves in the heat race, but Schwartner gets the triple in still. He's going to go triple, double, double, and he actually gets the pass.
It's just back and forth with these two. Little mistakes, really the key in this 250 division, as Holtzy now trying to get to the inside of, Seth Crotty, who cut out of that corner. I don't know how Holtzy didn't clip his rear tire, but a nice job to just kind of steady up behind him. Gerst on the 42, still right in front of this group as well. Everybody just still trying to find someone to fight for a position at this point in time. Seth Garrett, they're lapping Rasmus Balzer, who's down at 19th. Rough go for the 35 impact ride. Seth Carr up here in 3rd. Talon Zoller still in 2nd. And then here comes Wheel in the other direction in the whoops right now, still leading this thing. We are down into the final about 3 minutes plus 2 laps, or plus a lap, I should say. And Whelan has been pretty much as advertised here tonight. Consistent, didn't really worry too much about that P15 qualifying time, and has just turned it around into 2 great heat race and main event sessions here tonight.
Yeah, he just kind of seems like the class of the field here. I don't really know who's going to be able to challenge him. Not to say this East Coast is shallow, but as far as this first race here, I don't really know if there's any other kind of title contenders that I kind of see being up there and challenging. Zoller's in 2nd place, though. Really interested to see. He's got a 3-digit number. So is this his rookie year? Is this his first Supercross race ever, or did he just not score points last year?
That's a good question. I remember seeing Talon Zollers' name before.
Maybe outdoors, clearly not
came
scoring
in and out
points.
a little bit or something. This is a good ride for him, though. Like you said, 3-digit, trying to land inside of the top 5. Carson West, main event winner last year. Seth Garrett, we know how well he can do. And Seth Carr on the 13 machine. I mean, these guys are all established, more or less 250 class veterans at this point. Zoller's doing a great job to kind of mix it up.
Yeah, Seth Carr, I guess with that number 13, he's out there, but maybe just not the best start that he wanted for the night here. Not as challenging as he wanted to be. You always want to come out and kind of show that you're the boss right away. We'll see, maybe looking for a bounce back weekend next weekend in Tampa, but Seth Carr with great ride, and he's been throwing down some hot laps too as well. Just his last one a little bit rough. So these guys kind of their first time riding on a really eroded track. They haven't had the experience in a broken down track as we're almost 14 minutes into this main event here. So maybe that kind of weighing in on that a little bit there. But Seth Carr still with a great solid ride here, finishing up on the podium. But man, kind of no competition for Bryce Whelan, as he's just had a great ride so far.
Yeah, 11-second lead still for Bryce Whelan as we close down in the final minute plus a lap of this thing. It looks like those plates are staying red yet another week for the number 1 machine. Well, we put him on the cover of this week's thumbnail just because we figured Bryce Whelan would come out guns blazing trying to defend this 250 East title. And unlike on the opposite coast where Luke Magnetti struggled, didn't make the first main event of the year, Whelan has done pretty much exactly the same thing that got him this title last year. Consistency, not overthinking it, especially if you don't have a good qualifying session. Good starts. Bryce Whelan's always been a great starter. Yeah. And now consistent rides in a main event over a 15-minute plus 1 lap event. So as we come to the flag this time by, it looks like we're just going to miss time again. We got 15 seconds on the clock, and it's inching down, but I think he's going to get there just before we click over. So we're going to have 2 laps to go this time by. Indeed, it looks like about 6 seconds left on the clock or so. Seth Carr, Seth Garrett, and then Zollers with West rounding out the top 5. But here comes Gerst on the 42 ride, trying to get up into the top 5. And just keep it on 2 wheels right there, going to the corner. Now he's sliding sideways. Back and forth. And it doesn't result in an off-the-bike crash, but it does result in some time loss. Oh, West was down anyway, though. West went down off-screen right before the tunnel. So makes it all the way through the whoops and then tips over going to the corner. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. But now he's got Evan Holt right behind him. Side by side. We got 3 wide across the triple. I think that is, I was trying to latch onto it, but I believe that is Rasmus Balzer a lap down. Meanwhile, Lucas Schwartner has just kind of weaved his way into the mix right here with Seth Crotty as well. I think this is now 6th, excuse me, for Crotty. So
yeah, as we see a rider down, is that Lapper?
Oh, no, that was Gerst. That's Gerst down.
Oh, my gosh.
Just after he gets into the top 5, the 42 machine goes down. So white flag now waving for our race leader, Bryce Whelan. Whelan is going to lap, all the way up to 11th or so?
Yeah, he's been just kind of moving. Hasn't really had that many mistakes.
Colin
I mean,
Allen,
as far as I've seen it.
Cody Cooper's the last guy in the lead lap right now.
So lapped all the way up to 13th so far, and continuing to push that as we got a lap and a half here to go. But you see our leader right there in the background. But look how tight this pack is, man. This like 5th to 10th group that we saw back there. Still so much action happening. But Bryce Whelan, the star of the show tonight, having a pretty great heat race. Not the fastest start, but kind of showing I'm just going to get out there. I'm going to throw some laps together and win. And look at this. After all those mistakes, a 30-second lead over Seth Garrett in 2nd place, as Seth Carr had dropped back and lost that 2nd position here.
Here it is, though. Bryce Whelan starts the season on top and retains the red plates. He gets it done in Houston. A great ride for the Phil Ski and Snowboard rider. As you mentioned, though, battle for 2nd is not over just yet. The Seths trying to go for P2 as it's Seth Garrett versus Seth Carr, the Underground RC number 13 and the Finca Motorsports 97. Let's see if there's any change-up coming to the flag here. Looks like Carr has got the 2-3-3 option working beautifully to the last corner, and it will be Seth Carr finishing up in 2nd place here tonight in Houston as Garrett rounds out the podium. Zollers trying to hold on as Carson West remains close, but it is going to be Talon Zollers picking up 4th. You got West in 5th. Holtzy gets 6th. Oh, Crotty stacks in the last turn and allows Alec Horn through into 7th.
He's off the bike too.
Oh, there's Gerst, I think, on the 42 that just sneaks by into 8th, and Crotty just crosses the line in 9th with Cody Cooper behind him in 10th. Colin Allen ends up 11th, and Schwartner looks like he's the last guy on the lead lap in 12th here tonight, rounding it out here in Houston for the 250 East Riders.
Yeah, great ride by Colin Allen after going through that LCQ to finish 10th place. But, man, look at that gap right there. 29.8 seconds to 2nd place right there. Bryce Whelan just in a league of his own. I know Seth Carr did get a really bad start, had a couple mistakes there at the end as well. Able to finally get Seth, gave it up and then got Seth Garrett back there on the final lap. But your podium, 2 Seths and Bryce up there. Able to get that, looking like he looks like a J-Rob with that kit right there.
Yeah, a little bit. The 97.
KTM with the 97 from last year.
Yeah.
But
it's so confusing because Devin Harriman's now 97 on a KTM.
And J-Rob's 93.
So they're just like, throws me off when I look at them. But that's about it. I don't get too confused by anybody else anymore.
But, man, great racing here in the 250 class. And we still got the big dogs coming up here shortly. 450 class. What can Payson Johnson do out of the LCQ? Leclerc, Carter, Eaglin, Prin was insane. So it's gonna be another great race here. Man, these 250 riders, 52.5 for Seth Carr as he put that lap time down, fastest lap of that race, coming through the field to get up into 2nd place position. Throws that down on lap 13 as well. So he was pushing. Keep in mind that 52.5 when we start seeing the lap times that this 450 class starts running. Most of them doing pretty similar rhythm sections. There's a quad here or there that they can do, but don't seem to be opting for too much. But these 450 riders still able to throw down some heaters. So going to be really interesting to see what happens here up in this 450 main event as we're loading into the gate. What are you excited for as we come into, or who are you looking at as we come into this 450 main event?
I think I'm looking at a bounce back this week from Leclerc and Carter. I think that there was a lot of frustration out of both of them last week with the way that the second and third main events went. I think they're looking to establish themselves as the two guys in this series, and especially with the vulnerability we've seen out of Payson Johnson tonight, I think that they're wanting to set a tone a little bit, and want to put themselves further ahead of Johnson. Right now, it's a 4-point lead for Carter over Leclerc. Johnson 10 back. And of course, we saw Colby Eaglin get his first win last week. He's 20 back, but I don't know. I feel like now it's almost like when you get to that East Coast shift is where you see like those real championship guys push themselves to a different level and start taking shape in a series. I almost feel like that's where we're going to start seeing that little shift here tonight. Houston it's a unique track. You talked a little bit about how it looks like it favors Leclerc. I think Leclerc might be looking for his first win of the year tonight. Still close in that point standings. And if he gets a win, Carter doesn't get second behind him. Leclerc walks out of here with the red plate. So I think those two are going to try to establish themselves a little bit here moving into the East Coast.
Yeah, it's going to be all important about this start and how you qualified through that heat race. Payson Johnson, 10 back, but showing a couple cracks in his armor. I feel like this East Coast shift is a little bit earlier than we normally see it, though. Maybe, a couple rounds early, but Colby Eaglin, I feel like still not completely out of it. Jacob Hubbard just a couple points behind him. So we could see a big statement from one of those guys a little bit further down in the points if they can come back and drop a win. Nathan Prin could very much be spoiler. He's 37 points down in the championship right now, but potentially the fastest guy that we've seen on the track here tonight. So yeah, Braden Carter and Alexis Leclerc are going to be really important here. Those top three, don't want to separate and only focus on them too much here, but this is definitely a really big weekend, especially with the way the points are starting to shape up, especially in our top five. So here we look at Leclerc getting a couple practice laps in. Before we get started for this 450 main event, everyone getting their sight lap in, getting comfortable on the track, but this track is not going to look very similar, especially this sand section once it starts breaking down. 20 minutes plus 1 lap of racing.
Yeah, if you never joined us from MotoOption Supercross before, the track does erode and break down, but it only does it per race. So every time the server restarts, it resets the entire track. This will be the longest race of the night, a 20-minute plus 1 lap affair. And as you mentioned, that sand section was already pretty blown out after 15 minutes plus a lap. And those are just 250s. This is the 450 class where they're, of course, going to rip up the dirt a little bit more. But it is time. We have headed east, and round 5 is upon us. We are in the Lone Star State tonight here in Texas. Houston, are you ready? Let's drop the gate on MotoOption Supercross.
Round 5, we got Braden Carter with the great jump up the inside again, but Hubbard looks like going to try to go around the outside.
It's going to be Jacob Hubbard, the Phil Ski and Snowboard rider, picks up the RaceStrategyGaming.com Whole Shot Award and leads through the first couple of corners. Jeremy Smith was in 4th. He goes down. Hubbard leads. You got Carter up there. He might get landed on. Riders stacking up in the second turn. Eaglin goes to 2nd. Johnson from the LCQ is in 3rd. Seth Shirley behind there in 4th, and Carter rounds out the top 5.
Yeah, Carter missed that rhythm section. Almost got landed on, almost got hit up over the Davlos bales. Able to bring it back together, but now he is chasing Payson Johnson. He is in 5th place, 6th place. Johnson in 3rd. Seth Shirley right behind him, playing a little bit of spoiler from the 250 West class, but trying to start and ride with the big
down
dogs.
He goes
and
too.
He wads it up. Body Parker, though, we saw him with the heat race win earlier. He's trying to go out and show these guys what he can do.
He's alongside Prin, who was fastest earlier, was going to win a heat race, right? And no, he did win that heat race, excuse me, and then beat Leclerc to do it too. So good start for Prin. Carter up here. I'm trying to find the 7 on our timing and scoring sheets, but I don't see Leclerc.
Where is Leclerc? Luke Sullivan as well. He's up there about 5th or 6th in points. He's got a rough start to this one, but Leclerc 19th.
And I think I maybe just saw him in the background. He's definitely back there too. It's not even a close 19th. So he's got some work to do as we look at Carter working on Nathan Prin. Johnson keeping Eaglin close in front of him. And once again, another good start and a lead for Jacob Hubbard. Well, coming into the season, we talked about Hubbard trying to turn it around and be more of a title contender this year. Everything that was last year for him was good starts and a little bit of fading to just not put a couple more wins on the board. He did get his first win of his career late in the year last year in Denver, but he has not got his first win of 2023 yet. Finally, he's got a little bit of a gap, though. Normally when he starts out front, he's got someone hot on his heels. He's got a little bit of room to work with right now before you go back to Eaglin behind him, and this could be huge for him.
Yeah, we got all of our heavy hitters up here tonight at the start of this race, but Jacob Hubbard, I think he's 22 points down, just behind Colby Eagland, who's 20 back. So I didn't really want to mention him because just like you said, he's got great starts and he's got consistency, but he never has seemed to be on the same level with the elite speed. It kind of comes track to track for him. But seeing this great start right here, he's already got about a 4 or 5 second lead. This could be the night where he goes and he puts it all together and rides for 20 minutes. We're only 2.5 minutes into this one, but he's already got a huge lead. And keep on too, buddy. I don't want to be this curse anymore. Jacob Hubbard able to hold on. But, man, look at that behind him.
Yeah,
Colby Eagland, Payson Johnson. Man, you got
Parker
Body
up here.
Parker.
Oh, sideways McIntosh. Big off. Right in front of the
Nathan
field,
Prynne.
but he gets off to the side of the track, so that's going to be crucial as Carter must have went down as well. He's going to come through back here, and here comes Alexis Leclerc. So Leclerc has made a few passes. He's up into 14th now, trying to make a few more passes. And fortunately for him, everybody's still pretty close together. Aside from our leader, he's really only a corner and a straightaway or so behind second place this early into the race. So if he can continue to make some quick passes as he works on Rogan McIntosh here on the 45, it's not the end of the world that Leclerc got a bad start. It will be the end of the world if he doesn't make quick progress, though.
Yeah, that's the difference between this 450 and 250 class. The 250 class spreads apart so quick. 450 class does not. So if you get a bad start, it looks bad. Oh, he's back there in 19th place, but he's only 2 sections back, maybe 12 seconds or something off the leader.
Look at this.
At that early start.
Whoops. Payson Johnson
Eagland
was jumping
Payson?
through the whoops right there. Yeah, Eagland and Payson going back and forth for second spot right now. And Johnson was jumping through the whoops. There's that quad double line from Johnson, triple on off, triple for Eagland. Both options working out pretty evenly over the finish line jump. I'm looking for Johnson to try to size up an opportunity to go by, and this might be it. Eagland swings wide. Johnson to the inside in the sand, takes over second spot from his teammate, and the 51 machine, after winning the last chance qualifier, is up into second place with Jacob Hubbard standing in his way from leading.
Yeah, Jacob Hubbard wasn't able to keep expanding his lead up there in first position, so Payson Johnson getting by, coming around that corner is probably the scariest thing that Jacob Hubbard could have right now on his heels. Everyone else right or a little bit further back, but Payson Johnson, we know he has
Hubbard
that
down.
speed, and Hubbard
He was getting kicked sideways, and it just blew up by the end of it. Johnson goes by for the lead. Eagland in the second. Here comes, I think that's Lang on the 5. No, excuse me, Bodie Parker, goes into third. Hubbard back to fourth, and then Prynne rounds out our top 5, but Hubbard another mistake, and Prynne is going to take advantage to go up into fourth place.
Yeah, if Prynne can get some clear air here too and start dropping some of those fast lap times, I feel like he could move back up and kind of compete for a win here tonight. He was so great in his heat race earlier on. Reminded me of a little bit of heat race Mookie there on that white bike too. But Nathan Prynne just kind of moving up slowly and Hubbard shuffling back. So what can he do here in the early stages of this 450 main? He gets past Parker as Parker misses the section, jumps way deep into the corner. They're going to come into this tricky rhythm section here, though. They're going 3 wide.
Look at that inside move for Hubbard, trying to get around Parker as well, and he's got it. So a couple nice quick passes there for Prynne and Hubbard to go through. Hubbard hopping through the whoops again, though, still can't quite get it figured out. And then back to Braden Carter, who is going to pass. Wow, that was Tharp jumping off to the inside of the track. Talk about Payson Johnson's luck. That could have been his night ruined right there if Tharp had landed on him coming the other way. But Carter makes 2 passes actually, because he also got around Bodie Parker. So now he's next up behind Hubbard. Prynne still just ahead of Hubbard. Then you got Eagland just up here as well behind Johnson. So the top 5, all super fast dudes at this point in time. But they've got to hope that something happens to Payson Johnson, because he is starting to put the afterburners on out front.
Yeah, Payson Johnson with a just great recovery. But, man, he's just ready to check out here. We'll see. He's had troubles keeping it on 2 wheels here. We know he has the insane speed. Look at that. Unreal, like getting underneath the bike on that tunnel jump here. He just looks so comfortable here tonight after the extra time that he's had. But he's not pulling away too far over our second position there. But he almost gets faster as the track starts to break down more. He can rail these sandy corners like that with the big ruts faster than a lot of other people. So Payson Johnson trying to keep opening up this lead more and more, little by little, as this race goes on. We are 6 minutes and 50 seconds into this race so far here tonight. I know our timer got a little bit messed up there, but trying to update you guys on how much further we have left to go in this race as Payson Johnson continues to lead and opening up a little bit over our second place position.
Yeah,
but man,
Eaglin's still back there just lurking.
third place. So Prin is even bigger gap there, and Hubbard still in fourth place trying to hold on, but we do have our red plate leader in fifth place trying to pass his teammate and catch up with Prin as Prin makes some mistakes here, trying to run some heaters. Look at those lap times too.
51.6 out of Prin, 51.3 out of Eagland, and a 50 flat 0.7 out of Payson Johnson. Mind you, this is in the race, and we're looking at qualifying times where those guys are just dipping their toes into the 49s. This is in the middle of the main event that Johnson's starting to lay these times down. And we talked about it in the last chance qualifier. Johnson going to that LCQ, maybe lighting a fire under his butt a little bit because things just didn't go his way in the heat race. But boy, he's looking super solid out front right now. 4.5 second lead, hitting his marks, making sure everything is tidy. And man, just not really putting a foot wrong right now. You can't even fault him for anything he's doing. Back to Carter here in fourth, who has just gotten around Hubbard, his teammate. So the one machine is on the move. Parker, Tharp, Boutigny, and then here comes Leclerc trying to get to the inside of Boutigny, and will do so. So Leclerc looks like he has moved his way up into 8th spot now. He's making some good progress as well, but the field is kind of thinning out in front of him in terms of opportunities to still pass riders. So they needed to make a little bit more passes, I think, earlier on in this one to stay close. Now he's sitting a little ways back. He's going to need some help to get up and mix it up with some of these guys ahead of him.
Yeah, as far as Alexis Leclerc, he started way back in 20th place as we see Prin making some mistakes right here, but he's able to re-enter the track barely in front of Braden Carter. Braden Carter not going to be able to make the move yet, but he's going to be a little bit closer as he's coming along up the inside. He's going to have the inside in this 180 corner. He's going to be able to make the pass there, cut it off before the whoops. Prin going to try to fight back. He's been fastening these whoops all night, but not able to make the move happen. And so Braden Carter is going to move solely into that spot, and he's got a little bit of a gap now. He can keep pushing forward and focus on Colby Eagland up there.
Yeah, take a look at the lap times real quick. I wanted to see 49.6 out of Carter. I knew this lap was looking pretty good, and it certainly is. So a 50.4 out of Payson Johnson out front, mind you, is very fast. That is still a ridiculous time. And somehow Carter just went almost a whole second faster than that while making a pass at the same time. So he's about 10 seconds behind Johnson. Johnson's starting to hit lap traffic. Do not count Braden Carter out of this main event yet. If especially he's going to put times down like that, he is on the move.
Oh, I like that. Oh, what Braden did, he messes up a little bit, but he jumped across into the roller, able to kind of keep it low on that step on, step off. I've seen what Braden does. Oh, Braden.
Oof.
Or I've seen what Payson does where he's been going long and landing with that hard suspension.
Oh, another slide out again.
Braden Carter, I'm trying to be analytical here. Get it together, but he's
Prin
actually going to
coming
lose
back?
the spot to Prin. No, he's not.
So the fight continues, and you can see Hubbard's also getting into the mix as well on the 78 in the background, so he would like a taste of Prin, and that might be an opportunity as well. That inside line in the sand, so OP right now. I wonder if we see a change-up. We're at the halfway point of this main event now. 10 minutes have come and gone. Again, apologies that the timer broke, so you guys don't get a chance to see where we're at. 10:25 is what we see in server, so that means 10 minutes and 25 seconds have gone. We have about 9.5 minutes plus a lap left to go, just to give you guys an update on the race right now. But there's about halfway of this main event done, still halfway to go. And right now, Carter's trying to get away from Prin. Prin's trying to get away from Hubbard. They're all trying to catch Eagland, and Johnson is just hitting his marks and pulling away out front still.
Yeah, Johnson has over an 8-second lead up there. He's just crazy putting together those laps. He didn't have to fight through much of the traffic like these guys have had. Braden Carter had a great start early, same with Hubbard, but they kind of threw it away and were having to work their way back up. That sand section actually developed a knuckle as Prin almost goes down exiting it. But the knuckle, there's like a second one where they're kind of doubling across it. So the sand, it looks almost faster.
Is that Eagland? That is. Colby Eagland was down, so Carter is going to go up into second place just like that. I don't think Eagland was off the bike because Carter was only 4 seconds behind him, but it must have been some kind of mistake that caused a bit of a hiccup. And you see tons of lap traffic. That's Ethan Parks getting out of the way. I think the 12 of Castellaneta is going a lap down in this mix as well as Prin. And then Hubbard behind that have to get around those two. Parks and Castellaneta hugging the inside, tripling on Prin. Oh, tire tap. And then gets tossed into the corner. He and Ethan Parks coming together. So Hubbard goes through into fourth spot. That was a little bit of both happening at the same time. Parks trying to get out of the way. Prin tripling across the track, hitting him. So you can't really say foul play there whatsoever, but tough luck regardless. for Prin, who goes down. And now the eyes remain focused on Johnson as he continues to navigate through this lap traffic. He's going to lap the 5 of Tyler Lang coming up next. So he's got some heavy hitters still right in front of him to get by. And the gap is at 10.6 over Carter. If you've never been with us for MotoOption Supercross before, about that 10-second range is all you get if you have a fall-off crash before you get back up and someone is right on your heels. So Payson Johnson has about a fall-off distance in the race lead at the moment, but it's going to be really critical to maintain the pace that he's got right now so that if he crashes, it's not any closer for Carter to get around him.
Yeah, his pace is just unreal right now. Braden Carter, we've seen able to go that fast, if not even faster, but little mistakes, Braden does look a little bit smoother, though, as far as his riding style. Payson just slams into everything. He's a little bit like Tomac-ish, where he's kind of bulldoggy and just slams into everything. That's why it makes it look more rough. Braden looks a little bit smoother out there, but timing has been a little bit off tonight, making a couple little mistakes that are just losing him a little bit of time. And man, it's going to be really hard without a big mistake from Payson Johnson for Braden Carter to close this in. But he's got the points in the championship. He can afford to go 1-2 right now with Payson Johnson. Does he want to? No, he wants to keep extending that lead there. But really, he's just got to worry about Leclerc as well. He's gaining a lot of points on Leclerc as long as he doesn't keep moving up his teammate there, who's also close to him in the championship. So Braden Carter solid with the second place ride, though. Colby Eaglin answering back after a great ride last week, takes the overall win at the Triple Crown, and answering back with a third place right now so far, with 6 minutes and 10 seconds left to go, plus a lap in this race. So Colby Eaglin with a great ride so far here tonight. Really, really proud to see him kind of bounce back, and he's still so close to our points leader, Braden Carter.
Yeah, he has got Carter right in his clutches still if anything were to go awry for the number 1 machine. You got Hubbard back here still in 4th, Prin in 5th, Sullivan 6th, and then Leclerc has clawed his way tooth and nail up into 7th. Looks like he may still have a shot at Sullivan for 6th as we are down under 6 minutes plus a lap in this main event. So pretty much a heat race from this point onward, where these guys are trying to jockey for those few positions. Prin hopping through the whoops, still up here in P4, trying to establish himself. Yeah, Leclerc got around Tharp, who is back into 8th spot now. Bodie Parker in 9th, and Connor Holiak quietly rounding out the top 10. Is a great ride for Holiak. Seth Shirley in 11th, Boutigny 12th, Tyler Lang, Aaron Rockefeller, Jeremy Smith. Like, good battles all throughout the field. You can see these guys still going at it. But another thing, too, these guys are getting lapped. You have Carter right behind them and Johnson just in front of them. Johnson is right there going towards the finish line, jump in front of Holiak, and Holiak is in 10th. So that just shows you the speed of our leaders right now. Payson Johnson has lapped up into the top 10, and it looks like he's not done as he's still got 5 minutes to try to knife through a few more dudes.
Yeah, it's not only their insane speed that these guys have at the very tip of this 450 class, but the consistency they have as well. Even, Jeremy Smith, he's been up there fighting for podiums already this year, but he's back there getting lapped with 5 minutes left to go. Like, it's just insane that these guys are just on such another level week in and week out, and they can do it so consistently. To see them, pushing and lapping so far up through the field. These are the best of the best in MX Simulator. This whole class, and they're still able to do that. That's one of the first mistakes we've seen out of Payson, as a little mistake there getting in that rut. Messed up, but man, I'm sure he can just put it back together, and he'll drop another heater right here. He has no competition whatsoever, and it looks like he's got some clear air for a while over some lappers. He's through the worst of it, so now it's going to be more hot laps for him. Just a couple guys coming up in the next rhythm section that he'll probably get to here in a lap or two.
The worst part about the lap traffic that he still might come across is that it is top 10 lap traffic, so he's going to come across guys that are really battling for some good points, and they don't want to lay over. They don't want to give up more opportunities to make passes. For example, the next person on his list would be Alexis Leclerc on the number 7. So as he gets to him, as he gets to that group of guys in front of him, it's going to be more difficult. Another big swap and save, and he goes into the tough blocks. Nice job to corral it back together, but we're starting to see a couple little nervous moments for Johnson out front as he tries to hold it together out here. And Carter back there in second. He's starting to sense a little bit of opportunity, it seems like. It's down to that 10-second mark again. Carter just trying to inch forward, and we'll see if he's putting another heater down right now to make it even closer.
Yeah, looks like a little mistake there, but every time you see that minus 10.7 there, so Braden Carter didn't throw down the best lap there, but every time you passed where the person ahead of you made a mistake, you can see that number start counting down. And you would think that these guys are solely focused on the racetrack, but you can always see that out of the corner of your eye. And he sees that going right back now to 11.1 down to 10.7. So he's watching that every single time he goes through a rhythm section. You're watching, where am I making up time? And you know that 10 seconds, he is less than a crash away, or just about a crash away. So Braden Carter is going to keep pushing here all the way to the end of this race and not give up. He still wants to get this win here. But most importantly, man, Alexis Leclerc, all the way back in 9th place, he is going to lose so many points.
Yeah, back out down in 9th place. I think that would be about 14 points. So I think even as it runs,
he's 4 behind Carter, and Payson Johnson is 10 behind Carter.
So I think Johnson's going to move into 2nd place with this win if he can hold on for it as he continues to work through some of that lap traffic. That is Bodie Parker that he's lapping, and sure enough, there it is. The 7 of Alexis Leclerc now in the clutches of Johnson to be lapped. Johnson goes long. How does he not fall off the bike? You've got to be kidding me that he's on 2 wheels. So that's incredible. And now he's got to get back on and get after it as he comes through some more lap traffic. And suddenly, the number 1 plate behind him is getting a little bit closer into view. He cannot afford another big mistake. Leclerc off the side of the track right there has now been put a lap down. And we are coming down to the final minute and a half plus a lap in this race. I don't know how Johnson stayed on 2 wheels right there.
The crazy thing about that is that might be Payson's one big mistake of the night, and the fact that he did not get legs off could be the thing that changes the story and the whole narrative of this night. That could have been Braden Carter coming right up past him, passing his teammate Leclerc and getting into the lead past Payson, but Payson able to hold on here.
And look at Leclerc. He's just right onto the rear tire of Johnson. He's actually almost kind of racing him.
He must have. I mean, I feel like that's the smart thing to do too, is kind of get back in and try to get that flow and kind of train, and maybe you'll pick up some extra spots. But I don't think he's going to make any crazy moves, but that's just curious. Is you had the speed, Leclerc, so what's been happening? You know, we can't always sit back there and watch it. Was he getting into crashes with other riders? Was he going down himself, making mistakes? Really interesting to see what he's doing. That's interesting.
The tough part about it for Johnson, regardless of if Leclerc is going to do something or not, is that you have someone breathing down your neck suddenly. You don't have the ability to lax for a few corners or whatever. If Leclerc's right behind you, you don't necessarily want to let him go back by, because then you have to repass him. So he's just trying to put some laps in and get away from him at this point in time, but it's never easy to have someone breathing down your neck like that. The good news for Johnson is the white flag will come out this time by, so if he can hold on for a couple more laps, he's got this thing wrapped up. Carter has just been trying to inch that gap down slowly but surely. He's running out of time though. 6.5 seconds is the gap. Johnson cleanly on top of the whoops. Leclerc slid out before the whoops. That might be the breathing room Johnson needed as he misses the tunnel jump again right there.
Yeah, talking about Leclerc, actually, Payson, I feel like you would never let him by, because if you stay in front of him, that eliminates any other positions that Leclerc can get, and that's points in the championship. But, man, Payson made some quick work even before Leclerc had that mistake of getting away and getting that breathing room back. Him and Braden are just on another level with the pace, the race pace that they're running tonight. But, man, Payson, after capitalizing on those early mistakes by Braden and Hubbard, he has just gotten in the lead and started throwing down, keep it on 2 wheels.
Look at this, man.
Carter's close.
He's going to get it pretty close here. It's not going to be close enough to try to make a run at it necessarily, but if Johnson has one more little mistake, you just never know. Case is there. Parker's putting some pressure.
He's down. And
he's stacked up in the corner. Carter's going to have a run on him in the whoops. Let's see if Carter gets this thing close. They're bouncing together. Carter got a great drive through the whoops. You go back to last week in the second race at Anaheim. Carter's going to come down the inside. This is going to be for the win. Coming to the flag. Johnson swings wide. Carter to the inside. Johnson squares it back up. Johnson takes the win tonight in Houston. 0.4 of a second in it. Carter gets second. Johnson backflips across the start straight, and they both go flying out of the stadium. Unbelievable finish as Eagland is going to take third to wrap out the podium. He's going to hold off Hubbard, who Hubbard is going to lose a spot to Prin here, or is he not? No, that's not Prin, excuse me. But it is going to be Hubbard who will retain fourth place. They lapped 8th place in this main event as Hubbard crosses in 4th. Tharp trying to hold on for 5th. Sullivan back there. Prin all by himself. So Sullivan trying to steal maybe a top 5 at the end here from Tharp. But unbelievable that finish right there. Beautiful read by Payson Johnson squaring off the corner. He read that perfectly. He knew exactly what Carter was going to try to do. He read it, squared it off, takes the win.
Yeah, he squared that up great, and Carter almost perfect execution, but just almost jumped a little bit too deep or didn't brake hard enough, because when he should have accelerated into that rut and cut down as well, he probably would have had the speed, but just blew that rut and in the end let Payson get it up the inside. But man, that was some great racing right there. And Braden, that's why you do not give up. And Braden Carter gets the win
got it on cuts. Braden Carter is your winner tonight in Houston on penalties. So he could have followed Payson home anyway and still got it. Payson with 2.2 or 2.1 seconds of cuts. Carter gets the win tonight. Unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
I can't believe that.
I don't know where he got cuts. He must have been, blowing off the track more than we thought and just getting back on, because he definitely wasn't falling. But oh my gosh.
Wow. All right. Well, let's bring it back in studio to break that down here at the end real quick. Kellen Brower alongside Andrew Wood, just bringing you guys the action here from round 5 of MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross. Braden Carter gets his 3rd win of the season. Unbelievable ending to this one tonight, and of course extends his championship lead. Leclerc with a rough night. We think Johnson still probably moves to 2nd in the championship, but suddenly Carter has a rather large lead because of it.
Yeah, I mean, Carter's gonna, those couple points, Leclerc is dropping back. Leclerc is gonna be pretty close to even with Hubbard, and then Johnson just losing those points. Braden Carter is showing everyone why he has the red plate and the number 1 plate. He wants to keep that thing for the rest of the season. And he's just been, man, you can't count him out. No matter how fast Payson Johnson's going, he makes mistakes. He goes off track. Payson just has a little bit more to learn, and that's the reason he doesn't have the number 1 plate or the red plate. He's just too many mistakes so far this season. He's gonna really have to eliminate those and start cracking down if he wants to battle Braden till the end.
Absolutely. It was those last few laps that just started to fall apart for Payson, and then on the last lap before the whoops, a small bobble. Lap traffic may have been involved, but again, that's just part of the game. Sometimes you got to weave through the lap traffic and get through them good. Johnson ends up just holding on at the flag, but then Carter gets it on penalties in the end, which is, of course, divvied up for Johnson's any off-track infractions that he had during the main event that is added to his total race time. So Carter leaves here tonight as the winner in Houston. Unbelievable finish. That is round 5, though, of the 2023 MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Championship in MX Simulator. A huge shout out to MotoOption, of course, as well, for being the title sponsor of the series, and Underground RC, Phil Ski and Snowboard, and Race Tech Suspension for being the supporting sponsors, as well as all of you guys that tuned in and watched round 5 of this series. Tons of viewers in the chat having a good time watching the racing and providing excellent commentary to provide with us as well. So thank you guys to you guys. Thank you to Andrew Wood for tuning in with me again tonight. I think we're going to see you back next week in Tampa, so that's going to be exciting. And the East kicked off as well tonight. A lot of good storylines. A lot of fun was had. And we hope to see you guys next week in Tampa for round 6 of the 2023 MotoOption AMA Esports Supercross Championship. We're out of here in Houston, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.